will be able to go to work. Abby, and now fend for another person. Okay. So now I will have to call down my sister and say, or down my brother and say, Uncle, I used to give you 1K before, but the Lord is our strength. We have to we have to readjust this thing. So it's not that in its whole entity I'm trying to be selfish in a way. I'm a good person, right? But situation and circumstances has made me be more self-aware. So let's use very fancy words now. Now, I'm now more self-aware and I really have to take care of myself, right? So for people in what I'm just trying to say is for people in this time and dispensation to still look out for others is a great and it's a big deal. So please let's give a round of applause to the Myfi Foundation. My lash, right? Please just bear with me. And please give them a round of applause for still putting in cognizance the importance of other people around them. You know that we do not, how many of us are Christians? We do not speak in tongues to rent this hall, right? And all the AC that is blowing us and the wonderful facility, right? So please, a round of applause for them again. Okay. So I can see some people are reading. See, all this thing is by the grace of God. And I'm grateful for how far I have come to in the tech journey and in the tech space to be able to stand in front of wonderful and great minds like you to express a quarter of my perspective about what we are doing and how we can be a better us in this dispensation. And the secret is, before I start my presentation, please, my time has not started though. Don't say my time. This is just introduction. Thank you very much. All right, so the secret of any secret is not usually a secret. They are usually staring at us right in the eye. And it only takes people that are thinkers, to be able to see beyond seeing. Now I'm sounding mystical. No, please don't worry. You will see that what I'm trying to say is very simple. All right, so please give me 30 seconds. If you're not a Christian, just indulge me for 30 seconds while I pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to talk and to rub minds. Thank you for your spirit, which is the light that would bear on all our minds and give us ideas. I have not come to speak of my own, but to speak of what you want each and everyone to hear and pick today to change and transform not only their lives, but their generation. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. All right. All right, so my first slide. Now, how many of us has curated playlist before? How many of us has created? Hey, we have, okay, you don't like music. How many of us don't like music? Wow. We all love music. So we've not curated a playlist before accidentally. Not before. Okay, for us, Shad, I've curated a playlist. Basically, a playlist is just what you like, a particular set of music that you like, and you just add them to it, right? And maybe at a time, after 2-3 months, you get to start fast forwarding some of the songs that are in the playlist, right? Just come to this one, you just say next, and next, and next. But it's not that at one point in time you didn't get to like that song, right? In fact, you love the song. That's why, maybe because of the lyrics, or it's a trending song at that time, or whatever reason you added it on the playlist. But Sha got to your playlist. Good. But at that time that you started fast forwarding it, doesn't mean that anything changed about the song. Of course, it's a recorded song. Now, because of the so many things that are going on, so many things, so many parts that are working in our society and in our generation, but our focus today is on our Nigerian digital skills space, the tech space, right? That's why we're here. We the techites. so many of us have been able to find our foot at the door because we were able to prove our skills. We had good proof of work. We had good precedents. Somebody had a good word for us. We're able to put our foot at the door. And joyfully, we're employed in this ecosystem, the tech ecosystem. We're there. But over time, if you keep playing along the same flow of river, you keep giving in what they are giving you, relating to the playlist. It's the same thing all over and over again. Very soon, one day you enter your boss's office or submit that project work, and they'll be like, okay, is there any other thing new? All right, thank you very much. Then the next time, same thing, same approach, same precedence, same result. Nothing is really, really changing. And very soon, you soon become that song in that playlist where they press fast forward, fast forward. And at one day, you just get angry and say, what's this song doing here? Let me just delete this something, Joe, and let me find another song to replace it. So, starting with my talk and my presentation today, critical thinking and innovation, a vital tool in leveraging Nigerian digital skills. So, what is that thing? What is that tool? What is that ingredient that would make you become that sweet flavor? How many of us are married here? Okay, sir. You can imagine, sir, with all due respect, Madam is bringing only eba and egusi every day. One day, you say, Madam, my love, or please, can we have another menu? And she's like, Bo, your favorite food is eba and egusi. You say, I know, but can we just eat another thing? Right? That is the same way it is. I'm going to be talking here because I know some of the speakers are going to be talking about different angles and different perspectives to you being that tech talent that will help Nigeria and Africa itself to be on the global scale, right? But I'm here to take it a step further and imagine that we are that talent, right? We are that person. Out of the 50,000 CVs submitted, you were the one that they unpicked. Now we are there. Now just imagine with me. You put in your application at Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office. You put in at, what's the name of this, Tesla, and such other wonderful companies all over the world, and you were employed. Now we are there. We are there already, okay? And now, over the years, you keep giving them the same thing. So we want to talk about that ingredient, that thing that will still make you stand out in the next 10, 20, 30 years among your peers. And that is critical thinking and innovation, a vital tool in leveraging Nigerian digital skills. Next slide, please. Okay, let's dive right in. So, critical thinking in itself. Oh, this thing is not so clear. Can we see it? Can we manage? Okay. Okay, I think it's better. All right, that's better. So, critical thinking is a self-guided, self-disciplined thinking which attempts to reason at the highest level of quality in a fair-minded way, according to the Oxford Dictionary. And the most important term we can see here is what? Self. Self. Nobody is going to think for you. Nobody is going to think for you. You have to do it yourself. And many people in their subconsciousness tend to what? Run away from thinking. We are so good in being fed information, and we just eat it up. And people that are going to innovate, they don't think like that. If you are always feeding on the information and just settling for what you hear every time, You enter the office today and they say, oh, this is the project we are working on. This is the way we are doing it. This is what we are doing. And that is how we are doing it. Which is very good, right? But will it do you well to go back to your closet, to sit down and think? Now, how we are going to think, we're going to find out. And the other important term we are looking at today, we are looking at it together. Innovation. Innovation is the word, is the practical word, implementation of ideas that results in the word, in the introduction of new goods or services or improvement in what? In offering goods and services. The reason why we are working is to what? To offer something. Nobody is employing you to just sit down and just take money. Or please, is there somebody working in that kind of place here? So I can also enroll. Everybody is being employed to work to offer something. To offer something. If you're a receptionist, you're being offered to help people get better when they enter your office. Through what? Your smile, feel comfortable, help people around, and things like that. Okay, so now let's go. For critical thinking, everybody thinks, whether you like it or not. Okay, for example, let's take an example now. As we are sat down here, now, 2 or 3 of us, your thoughts have been diverted to, I did not eat that yam finish. Oh my God. Did I warm that stew? I did not warm that stew. Then from there, you're thinking, that Musa now, that gate man. That's how I just opened that gate. Then from there, your thought jumps to another thing. Your thought jumps to another thing. We are naturally enabled to think. And whatever nature diverts to us, that means it's an essential tool for survival. So, you don't just say, oh, I'm breathing. I'm just breathing for fun. Please close your nose now. Whatever nature itself has what given to us as an ability, that means it is very, very important. Just imagine you don't have a mind. And we are all robots. And God is controlling us from somewhere. So, but much of our thinking left to itself is what? Is biased. Is distorted. Like I said, you have thought about yam this morning. And come to think of it, yam is not my best food. I don't know why I keep saying yam. Okay, so is bias, is distorted, partial, uninformed, or downright prejudiced. Yet, the quality of our life and that of what we produce, make, or build depends precisely on the quality of our thoughts. You are just who you are. By what? By the thoughts. So for example, this my brother that just walked in and sat down beside me. And I'm wondering, see him. Did not even say hi. He just sat down. Now wow. She did not see that somebody that is wearing blue like this, that a food chair like this, he did not even bother. Hello, good morning, madam. So from there, you start acting up. So whatever it is you are, presently, just know it is as a result of the quality of your thought. So if you are making $1,000, it's as a result of the quality of your thought. Elon Musk, that started with Tesla, he started thinking about how do I change the whole narrative of what? Of the car industry by what? Inventing cars that uses electricity. He started with a thought. Oh, wait, do you think it just happened? And he just went to the bank one day, why? And say, please, come and borrow me money. Because the people that are going to what? Shake you. You must have gone through a quality, refined process of thought thinking, of critical thinking, to be able to prove and what? And affirm your thought process, to be able to convince others. And that's why we are here. We are here to network and leverage, right? And meet other people. But if you start saying, oh, I think pencil is the next phase of materials to write, it'll be like, wow, that's true. Okay. And you're saying, that's it. Please, who will answer you? Say, sorry, brother, I'm coming. Let me meet I'll meet you now. Let me meet another person. Because why? It shows that your thought process has not been refined and gone through a critical process for you to be able to present valuable ideas. For anything to start, for any form of innovation to start, you have to start from the step one. And the step one is what? Critical thinking. Now, thinking is costly, both in money and in quality of life. So you feel that, okay, this woman is talking about critical. It's not just to sit. Everybody, let's try something. Can you try and think about, just pick a topic in your mind and think about it for 30 minutes. You will see how hard it is. You will see how very, very hard it is. Before you know, you see color. You say, this thing is yellow. You will try and fight your mind back to what you're thinking about. And that is why it seems as if people don't tend to think. It's not that we've not attempted it. We are all thinkers, but biased thinkers. The process of refining your skill, your critical thinking skill, to be able to focus and prune and bring out innovation is what we are talking about this morning. Just imagine the problems and the challenges of Nigeria, and you can think about one and thinking through. And thinking takes time. Critical thinking takes time. It takes time. It takes time. As we see, let's move forward, because I'm diving into so many things because my time, I don't know if I'll have time to go through everything. Now, let me just read through this, but please pay attention. Critical thinking is that mode of thinking about any subject, content, or problem. So it's about anything, basically anything, in which the thinker improves the quality of his or her thinking by skillfully, emphasizing on skillfully. You don't just critically think and say, oh, I'm a critical thinker. It has so many skills that we're going to look at. Skillfully analyzing, assessing, and reconstructing it. Critical thinking is self-directed, self-disciplined, self-monitored, and self-corrective thinking. Now, enough about critical thinking. Let's go into innovation. Innovation is not always about coming up with something new. In fact, from the term innovation, I know when I said innovation and I said it's not something new, you're wondering, but innovation is something new, right? Invention is different from innovation. And to think of it, what do we really need now that has not been invented? Out of the major raw materials that we have, we can bring out so many other stuffs. And I can say God himself is the inventor. We are just discovering what he has invented. Then from what he has invented, we started innovating, right? So now, there is really nothing new. Innovation is just a process of bringing out something from A, B, and making it C. That's all. That's all. And how do we leverage all these skills to ensure that we stay on top? Remember, you are working in Microsoft already, right? And you want to stay there in 10 years. And you're working in, or you are building up your own startup. And in the next 2-3 years, you want to be able to have a seed funding of $50 million, right? So we are there. We are there already. So how do we keep ourselves afloat? Next slide, please. One major tool or the ability to think critically is to be able to step outside the box. It sounds simple. Please, let me say something. Oh, this is called disclaimer. I'm also talking to myself. Okay? So I've been self-studying about thinking strategies for the past 5 months. And I saw how deficient we've been actually making use of this very important mind of ours. Very important mind of ours. Ability to think outside the box. Media, when the question mark appears, just come back to this slide, the previous slide, because I don't want them to see the answer. Okay, can we play this? You're offline. Are you offline? Oh, Oops, 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 oops. Okay. All right, so let me just say it in words. All right, so the brain teaser is everybody you're answering now. Pick. You're online. It should play. It's not playing. Okay. All right then. All right, so let me just use my words. I'm going to ask anybody. Now, this is a rooster, and he just laid an egg, and he laid the egg on top of this, this beautiful shed, and there's a wind blowing 10 mph per hour, and we want to find out which direction will the hen fall to. Now the hen is just coming straight down. I mean the egg rather is coming straight down this way. Now it's just laying egg. But because of the wind is blowing east, 10 mph per hour, right? We will now want to find out, as a critical thinker that you have called yourself. Abi, are we not critical thinkers? So which direction will the egg fall to at the tip of this band? Is it going to fall east or fall west? Shoot. Sorry. What happened? I was. Don't worry. Sorry. Please check if everything is fine. It should be. All right, so back to our. Anyway, that has given us more time to think critically. So, who has the answer? Okay, so let me take it all over again. So, we have a rooster, okay? It laid an egg. There is a wind coming at 10 mph, right? So, we want to find out where the egg is going to roll to. It's going to roll forward or backwards, or just going to stand in between the legs of the rooster. All right, do we have an answer? East, you can see. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Please give him a round of applause. So your ability. So we have critical thinkers. I'm so happy. But there's another harder one. Don't worry. All right. So we have critical thinkers here. Now the ability for us to be able to receive information and step out of that information, to start dissecting it, to be able to see, synthesize, critically analyze that information is what builds you up to be innovative. We all believe that innovation is what keeps us, on the steady to remain relevant as that Nigerian digital talent, right? If you are not innovative, so to say, or bringing out new solutions over a period of time, you tend to be discarded. And so many platforms, like Know the Blocksmithing, like myself, which I founded, the Myficon, and incredibly our Nigerian digital agency. I think they're even having an event here too. Are trying as much as possible to increase the capacity of tech talents in Nigeria. They recently onboarded 3 million people, they're developers, and that shows us that we are going to start having what? We are going to start having what? What do you say, sir? Make more tech talent, and more tech talent results in what? Competition. It's not really innovation. Yes. So you have to stay on top of your game. In 2021, I'm a Web3 developer, I'm a blockchain developer. And I receive calls often as in 2021 to ask me, oh, please, do you have someone to recommend? Do you have this to recommend? Please, we need somebody like this. Do you know anyone in your circle? But believe me or not because of the bear market or things that are happening there, but majorly because we have more developers now. We have more community managers, we have more educators, we have more of those talent pool. And now the competition is stiff. They don't need to really ask you. Before they look around them, they found 4 or 5 people. Now imagine they are onboarding 3 million people for the first phase. So you can imagine that you yourself, that you seem to be in the pool already. Some other people are not sleeping. They are working every day to become what? The better version of themselves, using so many other skills. But I can bet it with you, in the tech ecosystem, innovation stands out. Anybody that can innovate will remain on the highest pedestal in this pool. So now, if you want to ensure that your space, right, is still what? Well kept. And not even your space, you yourself, you're scaling. You have to ensure that critical thinking is very, very, it's your everyday go-through skill. All right, next slide, please. Now, I know the question is, how do I go about critical thinking? Is it just to just sit down and meditate? Meditation is a whole different thing. Critical thinking and its futures and activities. The first one is what to analyze. Analyzing intends to identify, one, question, and conceptualize. Now, the process of identifying, I'm just going to rush through this. It's so much deeper. But the process of identifying means to find out what the challenge is in your sphere, whatever it is, or whatever it is that you want to work on. So you can't just sit down and say, I'm just thinking. Thinking about what? Please, how many more minutes do I have? So you can't just sit down and say, how many more, what do I want to do? What am I thinking about? You have to identify that problem first. After identifying the problem, then you turn the problem to a question. That is the foremost thing that you can do towards start conceptualizing that challenge, that innovation that you want to bat. Because you're wondering, oh, innovation is such a vague term. What am I going to innovate? What am I actually birthing? Right? So the first step is what? Identifying what you want to do. Then turning that object that you have identified into a question. For example, let us take you as a project manager, right? So you observed in your workspace that your teammates are turning in projects very late. So you have identified a challenge, right? Now the next thing is to question that challenge. So why are my teammates turning in their project late? Now we've turned it to a question. Now, we now want to conceptualize it. Conceptualizing it is, okay, the act of turning, I'm just saying this on top of my head. The act of turning team projects late. Now you have brought it out of a personal zone into a general zone. And one important skill of critical thinking is the ability to step out of your emotional coefficient and think with your, which we're still going to talk about, think with the rational section of your brain. All right, so let's move on. No, still on the slide. I would rather delve into this slide than go into the next one. All right, so assess. Can we increase the front side so that people can read along? Okay, that's good. Now, assess. Synthesizing clarity, accuracy, precision, relevance, depth, breadth, significance, logic, and what? And fairness. So anybody that is thinking about anything or any concept, you have to have this as your hands. So you're not thinking about things from your own perspective. The ability to synthesize. I believe we all know what synthesizing is. Then clearly, then the accuracy, then the precision, and what? The relevance, the depth, the breadth, the significance, the logic, and the fairness. So you're not saying that, okay, because this so person in my workplace is my friend, I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt. I know him personally to be a hardworking person. Maybe that's why he is still upfront, and maybe the others are not just serious about things. The ability to think fairly in your judgment process to innovate is very important. Now, discipline. Discipline, like I said earlier, is vital in the process of critical thinking. You have to be disciplined. Like the way we sit down and say, oh, I'm working today. Then you start up, you put on your computer, and you know you're working. And in the next 10, 15 minutes, you find yourself grabbing your phone and watching Instagram. What's even happening on LinkedIn today? Let's see. Who is going to one event or not? When you are critically thinking, okay, so in my thought process, let me give you an example. In my thought process of putting up this slide, a very fantastic idea came to me. And I was like, okay, let me bathe my daughter and put her to bed. I'm going to come back and continue. Guess what? I tried so hard. What was I thinking? What's this thing? It just came, you know. I couldn't get it. So the act and the process of critical thinking takes serious discipline. It takes serious discipline. I read a book called Developing a Second Brain. If you have time, go and read it. As innovators, we have the ability to develop a second brain. How do you develop your second brain? The process of bringing out what your first brain, this horse, and putting it into a format where it can be archived. And it takes discipline. That's just all. And it's not a destination, of course. We know that critical thinking is just a step in what? In innovation, but an important one. You can't innovate from the space. You have to start thinking about something first, right? And before I move further, I have to mention and acknowledge the other types of thinking. We have, which is very important, we have the critical thinking, we have the creative thinking, and we have the strategic thinking. We have divergent thinking, we have convergent thinking, and so many others. But the three ones that stands out is the critical, the strategic, and the creative thinking. Which one leads to another? But creative thinking, critical thinking is the mother of all. You can't create something without critically thinking about it first. Okay, so now let's take example of who invented the electricity. Thomas. Thank you very much. And he didn't just sit down to say, oh, light be. It's only God that does that. And even God himself has shown us that sometimes he thinks. In fact, he thought about the whole world itself before creating it. Right? So, Thomas Edison sat down and thought about electricity. And what? Which took how many? Lot of experiments, right? To be able to prove his point. Right? And in the process of doing this, he died. But he was able to show us that, oh, electricity existed, it has positive and negative nodes and things like that, right? Then who took up this concept and made a light bulb? Who made the light bulb? We can Google, don't worry. He's not cheating. No, sir? No, he's not. We can Google, yeah, Google. If I say it now, you forget it again. So let's quickly Google. So, but I'll continue. So the name of that person, Sha, when we fix it, and so he was able to what now pick up that critical thinking in what inverting electricity as an innovation, and now say, okay, so how do we conserve this electricity and put it in a place where it's going to light up? That's what creative thinking. So it started from what? Critical thinking. Without the critical thinking, which birthed the electricity, we are not going to have the creative thinking. So how are we going to create something out of this? Now, please, when you have the answer, let me know. What's it? Thomas Edison. So now we can insert the name. So Thomas Edison now sat down and now started thinking. Oh, okay, so now where am I going to put, how are we going to do this? Then he created the what? The light bulb. Now, from the light bulb now, so many of us, which we are still doing now, event planners, over the century, have now devised the means to strategically place all these beautiful light bulbs that we have now to illuminate different parts of the world. The houses that they built in the 1990s, the way they place their bulbs now is the same thing the way it is now. Now we have motion sensory, light, and things like that. People now thought about, from the creative thinking now evolved into what? Strategic thinking of where are we going to start putting these bulbs? Where are we going to start, making sure that we can tweak a little bit of things to get different outcomes, which is what? Still innovation. All right, next slide. Okay, methodology. Utilizing the rational centers of your brain. We are still going to talk about that. So I think I have very few minutes left. So let's just rush through. Now, what's the importance of critical thinking? Oh, we all need money. I did not write down one. So, because we need money, we have to remain relevant, right? And we have established the fact that to remain relevant, you must be a critical, right? So, but now putting it in a nice way. Number one, problem solving. Selecting the right courses, routes, creativity, and decision making. And also, access to quality information. For you to be a critical thinker, you will be able to separate facts from fiction, right? Like the way my brother did here. Now, then transfer knowledge. Now, if he's going to transfer knowledge, he's going to be able to definitely say, oh, a rooster does not what? Lay eggs. So anybody, any member of his team now, if he's getting the information as, oh, they wrote that proposal and it was looking beautiful. See all the English that a rooster is standing on top of the, what's it called? He laid egg, he did this and did that. We tend to emphasize on informations that are actually not necessary, but that they highlight for us to what? Divert our attention to the one that they want you to focus on. But the ability for you to be able to critically think will give you, and you will process that word, the ability to be able to sieve through information. And that means that the information gotten from you, people can trust it. Now, ask quality questions. So your boss cannot say, oh, go and do research. And they say, Ade, if Ade does research, it's different from when Bola does research. Bola does copy and paste. He does do it like that. But Ade will, no. It's the ability to what? To critically think. Challenge assumptions, identify quality trends, and another very important aspect of critical thinking is optimization, better questions. You don't have dumb questions. When you're in the board, when you ask questions that people will sit down and go and think all over again. I'm expecting such questions today from us. Intellectual curiosity. Now you're curious. You don't just accept things the way they are. You practically crave for improvement. You're not like, oh, that's just the way they want things to be. I'm just there. Anybody that thinks will be uncomfortable in a pedestrian level, you just want to keep swinging. All right, owning your judgment, better decision making, and a better way. Next slide, please. I have to rush through now. Now, critical thinking killers. Over reliance on authority. I know we function in different work environments. Some work environments allows us for us to be flexible in making decisions. And some other work environments, they are like, it's what the boss says, is what the boss says. But the thing is, people that are result oriented, right? They tend to want to listen to them. Do you know? No matter how strict the boss is, say, okay, even if he's not in the midst of all the team members, they will still call you and say, what do you think about that thing? Is it that jokingly or anyhow? So if you have been thinking critically and you've been delivering results, people will still listen to you. It's because you've not gotten enough attention and precedence and results. That's why they are still counting you as among the others. Second one is black and white thinking. So you don't just think, if it's not this, it's that. And that's why I said you use the rationale centers of your brain, right? Divulging of emotions. You don't say, oh, because these are millennials. Millennials think like this. Or these are Gen Zs, these are Gen Alphas. That's how they think, and you're just strictly either here or there. And hasty moral judgments too. Christians, that's how they do. Muslims, they are from the southeast. That's how southeast people do. Critical thinkers, they don't think like that. They don't box their imagination. Next slide. Labels and resistance to what? To change. For you to be critical thinking, you should be used to change. You should be, in fact, you should be used to change. How do I best put this? When there is a certain level of equilibrium in your place of work, you should be uncomfortable as a critical thinker, because it means that something is going to brew up. So why is it not you that should what? Orchestrate the brewing up, right? And start thinking about something. Of course, positive things. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so let me just read through this. Marrying innovation and critical thinking in leveraging Nigerian skills. The ability to innovate requires thinking and coming up with new solutions to problems. And on the other hand, critical thinking is the ability to analyze available information and proof to form a conclusion. Being critical is at one hand a what desecrator, and on the other hand, a maker of ideas. You know, don't be critical. We've all said that before. You're being a critic. But we are looking at this from what another perspective now, and this perspective which births ideas and views. And as everything depends on how you consider, regard, or view something first, for innovation to play out its part, it's about learning to become less judgmental and what more reasoning. Innovation is a different experience and something new in every period or duration of time. And we all go through this in life. What innovation is now might be different from what innovation is in the next 2 months. And in the tech space, you can be sure in the next three weeks, things keep evolving. The hard hat that I used to learn when I was learning to become a developer. If I'm saying, come on, I know something today, maybe just right here, maybe they have launched a new version. So, welcome to our world. Next slide, please. Okay, so critical thinking is a pause and activity to understand more in the in-between. In the next, okay, so in the in-between is where innovation and learning can what happen. The in-between of what innovation and what critical thinking, that is where learning can happen. Now, critical thinking is essential for innovations, where we uncover our own parts and judge others' part less. The ability to question assumptions, think independently, and identify flaws in logic is what? Is for generating new ideas and solving easier complex problems. Without critical thinking, we would be stuck with the status quo, unable to improve upon existing products, services, and system. The mental filters we develop as we grow older or using the same method over and over can impede innovation by preventing us from what? Considering unlikely or unconventional combinations. For example, the origin of coffee is from where? Coffee is from where? Americans. The origin of tea is from where? The British. And has everybody ever thought about mixing coffee and tea together? These are both unconventional drinks, right? But that is how a critical thinker thinks and imagines things. That, okay, is there a way, is there a kind of ingredient in coffee that we can mix with tea and to give us one mind-blowing another beverage, you know? So thinking outside the box of unconventional means what gives us what? Innovations. Next slide, please. Fast. Okay, in conclusion, innovation comes from necessity, and critical thinking is an essential part of the innovation process. So we have established, this is like the 6th time I'm saying this, that for you to remain in that Microsoft office that we have imagined earlier, right, is for you to possess the ability to innovate. And how do you innovate? How do you innovate? You must be a critical thinker. That there's no other way to it. And to be innovative, we must allow ourselves to explore other possibilities by viewing our surroundings through different lenses and feeling and thinking inside and outside the box. Also, this can be difficult, especially when dealing with complex problems, surroundings, and people's viewpoints and solutions. So, however, keeping an open mind and being willing to what? I can see this. Consider unlikely combinations can increase the chances of finding the answers and more value. Now, it is essential to relax the mental filters and allow unknown and unusual thoughts and awareness to what generates brilliant ideas. I wish I can talk on all this about time. Not knowing is actually part of innovating, where good ideas can be found. Now, who invented the light bulb? Don't we all know it now? So, not knowing is a fun aspect of what? Of innovation and critical thinking. And you're wondering, how can I, make this road better one? Must we use quota? Who even invented quota? Then from there, how did he even think about the fact that, quota can work? And from that process, you get to learn more. And from the different information that makes us hop in our critical thinking process, it will bet what innovations. Then by allowing yourself to work, to explore other possibilities, no matter how far fetched they may seem, you are more open to true innovation. And innovation starts when and where. Innovation starts when there is a what? A goal. And then you connect the dots. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you keep thinking critically. I'm Ayomide Arolo. See, imagine, I forgot to introduce myself. All right, so I'm Ayomide Arolo. I'm the founder of Know the Blacksmithing. It's an edutech institute here where we have trained over 5,000 people to learn about technology and with all our partners. So if you're interested in learning about virtual reality, Internet of Things, we are partnering with the Harvard University. They have an Harvard project called the Metagen University, where you learn about all these things. All right, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the speakers that will be coming up shortly.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you very much. Okay, someone has a question. Okay, maybe we'll just hold our questions. There'll be a section for question and answer. So we just hold our questions, and then when it comes, so just keep it with you, keep it in your mind. When it's time, we'll just call on you to ask your question. So really, really wonderful talk right there about critical thinking. Critical thinking is so important to becoming innovative. Like bringing about innovation, you have to be a critical thinker. So let me just a question, since we've heard about critical thinking. Let me ask a really quick question. I know some of you might know the answer already. It's quite common, but just to test our minds and our critical thinking features are part of us. Okay, so the question goes like this. So anybody that has the answer can just like raise their hand, and then we'll hear your answer. So before Mount Everest, which was the tallest mountain? What was the tallest mountain before Mount Everest was discovered? He said Wahala. So what was the tallest mountain before Mount Everest? Not really. Ma? She said Mount Everest, so that's correct. So before Mount Everest was discovered, Mount Everest was still the tallest mountain, it's just that we didn't know. So that's that's part of the critical thinking. So yeah, so we're going to be moving on to the next quickly going to moving on to the next thing on our schedule. Just to hurry up, because I want to try and move at lightning speed. Like we said before, we apologize for starting late, but we need to get back on schedule so that we don't keep people past the time they are meant to be here. So we're going to be moving at lightning speed. So the next thing is going to be the panelist discussion, and the topic is Nigeria's tech renaissance, unveiling opportunities and challenges, exploring the evolving landscape of Nigeria's tech industry, discussing emerging opportunities, and addressing key challenges hindering growth. So I'm going to be inviting our panelists over to come and help us with this talk, and just try and like open up our minds to this particular topic. So the first panelist we're going to be inviting is going to be Miss Abolorunke Blessing, who is a product designer. So let us give her a round of applause. Looking really beautiful. Thank you very much, Ma. So the next person we're going to be inviting is Mr. Revelation Onuche, a senior software engineer. Let's just give him a round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. And the next person we're going to be inviting is Mr. Fikayo Adepoju, a software and cloud architect. Really wonderful people with huge titles. Huge titles. You're very welcome. So we're going to be inviting Mr. Matthew Ikushoni. He's going to be the moderator of this panelist session. So I urge us to pay attention and learn a thing or two, or even 10, 20 things. So we're going to be welcoming Mr. Matthew Ikushoni. Thank you very much.
Good day, everyone. I just want to appreciate everyone for being here. Can you please just give yourself a round of applause? You deserve it. You actually deserve it. All right. Uh, Talking about today's topic, Nigerian tech renaissance. So it's about how the country's tech industry is growing a lot. And we will be talking about the new good things happening in tech, and also the problems that to stop it from growing anymore. So, to my panelists, I'll be asking two questions based on your specialties. Okay, from Mr. Revelation. So, yeah, from you first. All right. So, what's significant advancement do you anticipate driving Nigerian tech reliance in the coming 5 years, considering your role as as a software engineer deeply engaged in the field?
Okay. Um, how many minutes do I have?
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's too small.
Please, let's just.
Yeah, that's too small. Okay, I think, can I stand up? All right. Good morning, everyone. By name, I'm a Revelation Onuche. I'm a software engineer. I can literally say reason why I'm here this morning, not because I'm too good or I know how to do this very well. No. I think either you or one of the organizers reached out to me, either from one of the content I posted on LinkedIn, and the reason why I'm here this morning. So the question you asked, it just, if I can rephrase it, meaning, we have a tech industry in the country, and we are trying to see kind of prediction to, in the next 5 years, how the tech space is going to look like. Now, if I can say currently, I don't have answer to that. Reason because, for I think Nigeria started tech of a thing for over 20 years ago. You remember? Before then, it was all about foreign guys coming here to innovate, to do things. Before we started all of this thing, it was 20 years ago. I think I'm small actually, but I started software development when I was in JS1. That's about 14 years ago. And I started earlier, knowing what, I don't even know what I was doing then, but I see myself doing this thing before the professions now came to play. So the question here is, Nigerian tech space. Yeah, it's a good thing to predict the future in the next 5 years. But the biggest challenge here is that what are the track records on ground that will aid our prediction in the next 5 years? I can literally tell you that in Nigeria today, we don't have tech industry and we don't have software engineers. There's no time to prove the point. But today I can tell you that. But in the next 5 years, I can still tell you that maybe we are still on the learning phase. Because if I ask you a question, can you point to any company in Nigeria today that spent 15 years and they're still doing well? Do you know of any company? I think we have VogPay, one of the online payment before Pista came to play, but they are nowhere to be found today. They've not even spent 7 years. So from that question you asked, maybe from other panelists, they can give you answer. But to me, Nigerian tech space, we are not ready for the change in the next 5 years. Thank you.
Please, can we clap for him? Okay. Wow. Over to you, Miss Blessing. I don't know why I'm always calling the person that is not holding the mic. Okay. As a product designer in Nigerian tech scene, which design strategy do you think will be crucial in seizing the opportunities behind the country's tech reliance?
All right, thank you very much for the question. Before I answer that, I would like to briefly explain what product design is about. When you think of product design, you think about um, user experience, the problems that user face in the society, and now you are trying to solve this problem by creating digital products, designing interface that aligns with users' needs in the society. So, moving to the question, I would say design strategy. When you think of design, like Mrs. Ayomide said, when you're thinking, if you want to solve a problem, you have to be a critical thinker, right? You have to be innovative. So when you think of design strategy, is like a plan or a research plan that you've put together that aligns with your business needs, your business vision, and also the market opportunity. So, for you to talk about the design strategy and how it's, can you come again with the question? That is the last part.
How it's seizing the opportunities behind Nigerian tech renaissance.
Okay. Um, First, I would say you have to be user centric when creating a product, a digital product. You have to consider your users, because if you want to assume that okay, everybody's going through, let's say we need a fintech application for, you have to be inclusive, because if to like solve a wide range of users needs. So coming to talking about how it has to like benefit everybody, so you have to be inclusive, you have to think about um the users, their needs, what affects them, and how you can build that digital product, probably a mobile design, a website, but basically it has to align with their needs.
All right, thank you very much. Can we please just clap for her? And over to you, Mr. Fakai, Fakayo. Okay, Fikayo, sorry. Fikayo. Okay. As a software and cloud architect in Nigerian tech scene, what major tech advancements do you think will drive the country's tech renaissance soon?
Okay, so first of all, in a very unrelated manner, this guy made me feel old. Like 14 years ago, you were where? GS1. I was already praying for final year that time. So yeah. So I just heard that, I was like, wow. So and you came hot, you know, just came, but controversies make discussions very interesting. So you said, what are the things that we need to do to
Yeah, so what are the major tech advancements do you
we
think will drive the
yeah
country's tech?
we drive the country? Okay, number one, I think Nigeria and Africa as a whole. And most of the time when I'm saying Nigeria, just imagine I'm talking about Africa, because even no matter how dilapidated you think the situation of Nigeria is, the whole of Africa is worse. So we're even the front runner when it comes to tech. So everything kind of starts through us. Yeah. Kind of, yeah, but yeah, some might have more developers, some might have
they are suffering from like the financial aspects, but they want people like skilled um, techies to just come and work for free. And trust me, in this our economy, a lot of people will not do that. So I think if the government can support with funding, just like other global fast-growing countries like the Americans, Canadas, and etc., they have platforms where you can come showcase your ideas. If your ideas are innovative enough, they will fund these ideas, and people that techies that are going to work under your startup, they will also benefit financially, because nobody wants to like, yes, I would like to solve a problem. I would like to like be in a team, collaborate in a team, and build a very substantial product. Yes, I will do that for free. But it will get to a point where you get tired. Imagine you are into tech for like 2 to 3 years. You have your personal needs and you work for a startup. You don't get paid. They'll promise, okay, we're going to pay you the first month. You don't receive your salary. They will owe you for like 3 months. You get, and you're going to work. Oh, you are transporting yourself. You get tired and you go like, you'll be even frustrated to even continue tech. Trust me. So I feel if the government and the private sectors and even tech community can collaborate on how to bring people that with creative digital ideas and be able to fund these ideas, I think it will help us a lot in the industry.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, you want to add?
Thank you. I have to say this because I believe that the next 1 2 years, these are the tech giants in Africa, right? Ah, hey, me I am part one. I know my brother is part one. I know. Okay, so now I have to say this. We have to be less selfish as Africans. The reason why I said this is because so many platforms that she just mentioned now have been curated and have been sabotaged. And the whites are not stupid because come to think of it, they are still the one holding the funds. It might be our funds that were stolen from us directly or indirectly, but they are still holding the funds. And a lot of this platform have been sabotaged by us, these ourselves. So please, I'm appealing to us when we get to that place where we are sitting on board of all this platform that are trying to create for other people to stand on their feet, we should not sabotage it. Remember integrity. Remember that the lives of generations are depending on you. So many instances that time will not permit us, or many projects, hackathons that have been organized to power up all the startups. And at the end of the day, what they actually do is just collect the ideas together and fund it for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. And over to you, Mr. Fikayo. With your expertise, can you point out the main challenge Nigerian tech face in building strong and capable systems, and how can we tackle these challenges?
Okay. I'm sure when most of the time when we say strong and capable systems as Nigerians, I think the most relatable one for everybody is bank apps. We all use bank apps. So just going to go through that. Okay, so I think it's a twofold problem. There's a problem of talent and there's a problem of compensation. A problem of talent and there's a problem of compensation. And I think both of those two problems are rooted in the fact that in Africa, in Nigeria, and as he has said, there's no scale of measurement for quality. There's no standard scale of measurement for quality. How do you know a senior developer? How do you know a junior developer? That's not even that's not even the bigger problem. The bigger problem is how do you know quality work? And how do you quantify in, in monetary terms, what should be paid for what. Most people are looking for people to solve their problem. But I can solve your problem at surface level. And you will think that your problem is fixed. But your problem, your situation cannot scale. So, a senior, I want to say, let me not use senior, let me just say someone experienced. An experienced person tells you, this work is going to take 2 months and it's going to cost 500K. For you to see your name on the screen, you should just flash forward and backward. An experienced person says that. I'll be like, it's not just to see my name on the screen. Well, what's that supposed to? Just bullshit him and someone tells you, sir, it's name on screen. I've been doing name on screen. I've done it for this person, I've done it for that person. Give me 50K. Sunday, you will see this thing. And the person brings it. Yeah, they bring it. And you'll be like, I'm smart. I'm a smart businessman. But they won't tell you that what they brought cannot withstand fluctuating voltage. They won't tell you. They won't tell you that if you stand too close to it, you can feel heat being generated. It's emitting heat. And if the hall is packed full and it's not receiving proper cooling, it's going to spark and explode. That is what the experienced person saw. And it's trying to build you a solid system. So because we don't have a way to quantify quality, we just go with optics. What I see. Is it working? It's working. Push it. And you know why they won't call that other person back when everything goes to shit? Sorry for my language. Because they don't want to look stupid. They won't call you back. They would rather, Nigerians would rather die on their decisions than hold up and, the white man will call you, oh, sorry, we made a mistake, we're ready to engage you, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and they will make you're the experience, no matter how experienced, you have to be very experienced for you not to take an emotional hit when someone like that just tells you don't know what you're doing. So, when, in the case of, for example, the bank apps, like why are we not having these apps? Like, why are they not scalable? Why are they not working very well? Like I said, first there's a talent problem. Number one, you have to make sure that the right people are handling these things. The people that are experienced are handling these things. The people that can get this thing done are handling it. But the sad part is that banks actually have it. They have these people. Or, should I say right now, they had these people. But they didn't compensate them properly. Because banks fail to realize that right now, it's not like those days. Every bank now is a fintech company. As a bank now, except you're a loan bank or maybe all these other banks that we don't even know what they are doing. They're just bank, but they do a different thing. Maybe they fund agricultural projects and stuff like that. They are banks too. But commercial banks, the Zenith, the GT, right now, you are more of a fintech company than a regular banking company. Because all your operations are now automated. All your operations can now be virtualized. So, what was supposed to happen was that the technologies that they used is supposed to receive more funding. And the human resource, too, is supposed to receive more funding. I once met the DevOps engineer of, I think, Fidelity Bank. I think it was like 5 years ago. My company, my boss knows him, so he came to talk to us. Then later on, I saw him in Lagos. But you could see that with his over 20 years experience, the compensation has not matched. Meanwhile, I have guys collecting 4K, 5K, 7K, working remotely. And he is probably collecting, maybe they just increase his salary now to 700K. And guys are making 7 million. 25, 26, 27-year-old boys buying big Benz. He didn't scam anybody. He made clean money. So, to build scalable systems, number one, you have to have the right expertise. Number two, with the right expertise, you have to also make sure that they have autonomy of decision. They have autonomy of decision. They're not going to blow things up. There's always a senior. I've been a team lead before. 2018 to 2020, I was a team lead, and I know that the people in my team then, there are a lot of people, young guys, they want to do a lot. Yo, sir, let's do this. Let's do like this. But I always have to like tame all that to make sure that we can still try new things, but we also don't blow up what is already working. So if you have expertise that are well compensated, they won't go. When Paystack came, they knew that they were competing with brands abroad. Paystack made sure that they were paying their engineers at par and making sure that they were giving perks. And that's why, of all the startups in Nigeria, I can't say all the companies, but I can go on a limb and say that of all the startups in Nigeria, Paystack has the lowest staff churn rate. Their staffs hardly leave. I know guys that have been working in Paystack for 7 years. They are still there. You have to compensate people very, very well. Then give them the autonomy of decision. I've been in companies, your guy just says, your guy will tell you, if you are this smart, why am I richer than you? You are trying to tell him that, sir, this is how we're supposed to do this thing. It's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be like this. Is that not a decision you've been making all your life and I'm still richer than you? Logically, it sounds right, but in the context of what we're talking about, it's wrong. Because if I didn't know what I was doing also, why would you have brought me here? You would have done it yourself. Say one. Yeah, that's one of the things you learn in this job. You have to learn how to counter clients, how to counter bosses. Because they will come with logical points. But it doesn't mean it makes sense, because context has to always apply. So, like I said, people have to be well compensated. The expertise has to be you have to make sure you get the right expertise, because, like he said, some people too, they are overrating themselves. You learn Python for 2 weeks, you put it on LinkedIn. There are so many CTOs on LinkedIn. And if I throw 350K job to you now, you will run towards me. And you say you're a CTO. Do you know what it takes to be a CTO? I thought I knew stuff. Sorry, am I taking too much time?
Yeah, no, almost time.
Because I can just start rambling. I thought I knew stuff. And there was a time I was working for a US company, and I was even brought in as a technical person. And we had this outage where we're a DNS security company. So we had this outage, and when we have the outage, there's this thing they call a war room. So they just draft all the main technical people. No matter the department that you are, they just draft everybody into this Slack channel. The war room is a very transient room. It will disappear in 2 days once the problem is solved. Put us in the war room. So CTO was there, engineering manager, all these guys were there. The language these guys were speaking, we are above my level. The way these guys were debugging the situation, I knew that I still had a lot to learn. There are levels to this thing. And while you are thinking you are the king of the park, it's because you have not moved to another park. So that's why one thing I try to expose myself a lot. I try to listen to conferences online and stuff so that I watch people say things I don't know, so that I can go and start researching them, thinking outside the box, thinking critically. So people overrate themselves too. But I think when there is a proper vetting process, which is also why we need a quality assessment. We need to be able to properly assess who knows what they say they know. So when there's a proper quality assessment, the right people pass through. Also, make sure you are paying those people well, and then give them the autonomy of decision to pick the right technologies to fix the problem. It's sad in banks these days, so many bonuses are going to the executives. Meanwhile, the people that are handling the core thing, that are managing the app, they're not having. GT Bank app was down for 2 weeks. GT Bank, 5 million users. 5 million users. And they deployed an app to production that they did not test. And people could not log into their app. I did an entire video on this thing. On my channel, I did an entire video breaking down the situation. It is sad to see stuff like that, especially when you know that things could be done better. But Nigeria, they can just slap anything at us. Everybody will rush back to the bank physically and go and do their operation. So it's a twofold problem: talent and compensation. And once we get those two right, I believe that the right talent is going to take the right decisions, and we'll be able to have more stable and quality systems.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of this panel section. Just sit back and relax. We're moving to the next stage. Please, a round of applause for for our panelists as they go back to their seats. Thank you very much. And also a round of applause for yourself also. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sure we learned so much from that panel session. I know I too learned a lot. Like I think when he was talking and he was like, Nigerians will die on top of a matter. It just reminded me of a very typical Nigerian that I know, and that is my mother. I said, this woman, two of us, we have like an issue, like we have an argument, and she is wrong. You are blatantly wrong. You know you are wrong. She knows she is wrong, but she will not apologize. She will call family meeting on top of the matter. We will sit down. At the end of the day, I'll be the one to apologize and still say sorry. And I was not the one that was wrong. Oh. She's the one that was wrong. So, yeah, that's true. So, a typical Nigerian living in my house. Hallelujah. So, we're going to be moving on. So, before we move on to the next session, I think someone has a question for our previous speaker, Mrs. Ayomide Arowolo. So, you have a question as well. So, we'll just take those two questions quickly. So, first person has the question. Okay, let's over to you.
All right. Good day, everyone. First, I would like to start by appreciating you guys for hosting this, and I would also like to say a very big thank you to everyone that has spoken, most especially the first speaker. I was not able to see her name because the stuff was not that clear. All right. My question here is this: speaking on critical thinking, I thought about this. In Nigerian, we have a lot of guys that think outside the box. I'm not speaking specifically on tech, on this tech scale. So I'll be using myself as an example. I do SEO, which is search engine optimization. And at a point, I came to discover that most persons in this field, like, they don't get to have a job, right? Okay. That is, despite the fact that they are quite knowledgeable, they don't have a job. So I tried thinking outside the box, like, what about if we create an SEO tool? I see SEO tool like most, they have an agency whereby they offer solution. That solution now, as a tool, is an attraction. They create value. Okay. And also they have an agency. Hey, we have writers, we have this. So I'm thinking, someone like me trying to create an SEO tool requires funds. There was a time I discussed with someone, I need a tool. The price they call for me for one app say first. So these are the challenges that comes with thinking outside the box for most Nigerians. After you think, to like execute, you need funds. So during the conversation, I was still listening and I learned quite a lot, just that I need some specific answer on how to go about this. Thank you.
It's a beautiful question, a very realistic question. Please give him a round of applause. Remember, during my presentation, I was saying we all need money, including the speaker. So, but it's a very, very important question. After I've gone through all the stages of critical thinking, I'm able to think in divergent lens, I'll be able to analyze, synthesize, do all this and that. And the funniest thing is that the process of critical thinking might take years, right? to bet innovation. And after you've bettered the innovation, so what's now left? What should I do with the innovations, especially in environments that are not super friendly? Okay, so let's take our typical Nigeria. How many of us have asked for funds from our parents before while growing up and say, Mommy or Daddy, I need this? And they're like, no. But it makes sense to you. It doesn't make sense to them. So I think one of the challenge, right, is that make your innovation make sense to others. Okay? When your innovation makes sense to others, the right people will be attracted to you. See, let me tell you, okay, please just signal to me, because I'm a teacher. I can go on and on. All right, so this process is not something that happens in a tweak of an eye. Okay, it takes stages. And it is good that, yes, like I said, prayer to wa. Abby, we need immediate gratifications to actually stabilize ourselves financially, personally, right? And we might not really want to delve into the aspect, but we are looking at us getting to that pedestal where we can stand as CTOs, founders, and say that I've been able to do this and is helping thousands and millions of people, right? Which you are actually thinking about, right? But the thing is, it takes a process. It takes a process, and it's not something that is immediate. The way you are thinking about solutions, so many other people are thinking about solutions. And these solutions will come and collide on a very few platform. So, and that is why they come up with the word scaling, right? So that means there will be a presentation of so many solutions that are like yours, and very few will scale. But it's very important that, number one, you yourself are super convinced about the solution you're betting. Two, don't relent on that innovation. You keep improving on it. There will be that time that it will make sense to just one person. So don't get tired by just introducing it to a few people and all you hear is no. An example is myself. When I founded Node Blocks Mervyn, it was born out of passion of seeing the gap of creating and reorientating the upcoming generation about the tech space itself. Like Revelation said, he said, so many people are going at tech for business and not for career. And you will be short-circuited if you keep going at tech for business. But the beautiful thing people don't know is that if you go at tech for career, going at tech for business is included in the career. But it will be a wrong facet for you to go at tech for business at the first instance. So those are the kind of narrative we're trying to change. And if everybody has this orientation that we are trying to make things better for everyone, right, people would listen more. So like I said, my backstory, so I went at schools and started telling them about this and that. I went to, you don't want to know. So in fact, it got so bad that one of the companies, I think one of my team members went there and they just stopped us at the gate and said, please, what are you looking for? And we said, madam, just take. And I dropped my, what's it called, the proposal. And before I turned back, the guy carried the proposal and threw inside what? Dustbin. So you are going to encounter lots of, like, it doesn't mean your idea does not make sense. But you keep at it and you keep improving on it till you get to that next stage or where you get that right person that will be interested in what you're doing. I hope I've been able to answer that.
Okay, thank you so much, ma. Okay, so we're going to be taking the second question as the last question for her.
Okay. So the thing, this innovation thing, because I've also spent a couple of years in my own career. So the thing with innovation, and something I'm constantly scared or even looking out for, is that like sometimes it blindsides you.
Okay.
Like the person in the, let's say before now, we were using candles before electricity. Let's say maybe there are other things. The person in the candle industry cannot innovate and create electricity. Maybe they can, but like what they will do is they will go for scented candles. How would I make candles last longer? It will be so difficult for that person to even conceive the idea of electricity. I don't know if you agree, because that's something I'm considering. And then on the other side, you can look at something like automobiles and then horses. Somebody catering for horses I don't know how they would invent something like the automobile. Somebody that caters for horses has their traditional job. How do they transition from that to creating the next car? So what I would say at that point, my question now, after like considering it, because this is something I've considered extensively, is it that some career, not career paths, what would I say now? Some industries are destined to die, and then the person's sorry, and then another one comes, right? And then, if that is true, how do you transition the persons that have, like, because the horse example is very, very, the contrast is very strong. From biology to engineering, it's very far. Like, it's very far. How do you even begin to tell these persons to transition from here to here? And how do they even start to think of it? Like you said, about critical thinking, you have to, like, conceive the problem, then look at, okay, turn into a question, and then look at, okay, how do we now solve this problem that I've just created from things that I think will happen in the future, right? So, knowing all of this, and then looking at these persons, I'm now asking, is there a place where critical thinking cannot save you?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Before you, maybe just go like quickly, so call time. Then Mr. Fikayo also has something to add, so let's just.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, so let me start answering your question from the back. Yes, some industry are going to die flat out. So far we are human beings, and human beings generally tend to get bored. Is it not? Okay, if it's not, try and eat Indomie from Monday to Sunday. Who can try it? Monday to Sunday. So as you are sitting now, you know, we were, and my husband were talking about something. I think it was about this screen. Okay. Where I think that was 10 years ago. We were talking about how we would not at a point need to, you know, put all these things there and all. And that was before hologram became very, very. So people are thinking, why are people thinking? Because we are bored. We want to create something new. So because of that and because of that nature, like I said, some things will practically die out. Now, okay, the Nokia, many of us know Nokia. We know Nokia now, right? And who would have believed that Nokia would die? As in, sir, ma? But we know what we mean. Or BlackBerry. Hey. Can I have your pin, sister? So, who can even imagine that? But the place of, you know, when I was explaining critical thinking, I said it's the first step in the thinking process. So we have three major thinking process. We have the critical thinking, we have the creative thinking, and then we have the strategic thinking. But one will start out of the other. And while you are critically thinking about something, right, and you have come to that point where you now move to creative thinking. So in all of its essence, what I'm trying to say is that you don't stop at critical thinking as an innovator. If you are innovating something, solutions, better solutions, you don't sit and relax and say we are there. We have arrived. And that's the whole point of what I've been trying to say in the first place. Because that thing, that advantage that brought you to the door will not keep you there forever. It won't. You have to bring out something new or people will get bored. That's why we are bored of songs over and over again at the end of the day. So anybody that has been termed successful, right, as someone that is doing something good, trending at the moment, need not to relax on their horse, because somebody somewhere is thinking of how to collect, that precedence from you and take over. I hope I've been able to answer that.
Thank you very
All
much,
right,
ma'am.
thank you.
Okay, so
Okay, I'm just going to piggyback off what she said, but be a little more grim. Every industry is meant to die. This is the life cycle. Innovation, stability, death. Because something will always come and take over. That's how the world changes. So how do you use critical thinking? How do you use critical thinking? Always invest in what is going to kill you. Always invest. That's how you survive. Invest in what is going to kill you. Kodak made that mistake. They wanted to hold on to the film industry. But smartphones came and rendered all that useless. Who wants to wait 30 days to collect their pictures? All those my 10-year-old birthday pictures, I had to wait for 30 days before I collected them. So, invest in the next thing. Even I have changed in so many. When I started programming was the thing. It was hot. And I went into it. But 5 years ago, I started writing. And I did writing for another 4 years, and now I'm doing something else. Because it's going to get saturated. And it will most likely die. So always invest. What killed people like Nokia and BlackBerry was because they were holding on to the hardware when software started controlling the market. People are no longer talking about Nokia, Samsung, whatever. They were talking about Android, iOS. Those are softwares. Because it was now about the platform and the apps that you can get on it, not about the physical phone that you're holding. So always look for how you're going to translate into the next phase. Don't think you're in a competition with the next thing. Our children are going to outgrow us. We can't fight them forever. So that's the kind of thing that happens. That's why we invest in our children. So invest in what is going to what? Take you out. That's how you go from generation to generation.
okay, really wonderful. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to moving on to the next thing immediately, and that's we're going to be inviting a speaker. So we're going to be putting our hands together as we welcome Dr. Saadatu Adamu, founder at Secure the Future Initiative. So let's just put our hands together for her. Welcome, ma.
Thank you so much. I am really tired. Like, my head is banging, but I'll just try. Good afternoon again, and thank you to all the speakers. I've learned I'm not a tech person. Let me just do my mental health thing, and that's it. But I've learned, and I am so glad that I have Mylash in my life because they just help me do a lot, so it's easy. They see things and they will like, I think you can do this. I think you can do that. Yes, so you just mentioned something now about how, we can always think, because the truth is you're here now, but the next person is already thinking of how he can, do more than what you are doing. And one of the things that SDF has thought of through Mylash is saying that, oh no, we don't want to do the conventional counseling, like sit one-on-one. We want to have an app, so that people don't get to see us, but they are okay, because we know that stigmatization and victimization is real. People don't like, getting into an office to see a therapist. But if you're just in your room, you can have this and, it's okay. So we're moving from that level where we just want to sit and have conversations, and then, to that space where people don't have to see us, but they get, their problems solved. So my name is Dr. Saadatu Adamu, and I am a mental health advocate. Basically, what I talk about every day is mental health, mental health, mental health. And I'm a counselor, right? I'm a rehabilitation counselor. So what I do is I have people around me that I try to see transform, from whatever situation to another. And one of the reasons I'm here today is like, I've been in a place where a tech person said something and I'm like, no, this doesn't sound right. Because the truth is, we need to help the young ones understand where we're going to, because mental health is real, even in the space. Right? So it means that we have to strike a balance so that we don't keep talking about this dollar, how much they pay, you understand? And then someone is thinking that it's so easy, just like you've all said. Once he has this 2 months or 3 months course, he can make that money. And then he's in that space of depression, anxiety, and real experiences, of mental health. So it's important that we strike a balance. And I love the fact that Revelation, you mentioned something about, are you really a career person, or you just want to do the business? They are two different things. So you need to find yourself in that space where you are not competing with the person that takes $5,000, but you are building your career so that you're not stuck. It's very important. So I'm glad to be here today, and we're looking at mental health. Can I have the slides, please? Is it here? Okay. I can't hardly see. All right. So yeah, youth in tech and mental health, but I'd like to just ask a question so that we can open the conversation with a question. Is it okay for an individual to say that he wants to, he knows what he wants and he wants to go for what he wants? Or it's okay to keep trying? Like, if this doesn't work today, I want to pick up something else. If it doesn't work today, I want to pick up something else. I mean, I don't know, please. Can someone answer that? Because, yes, please.
I think it's always more exciting to tell people you can be whatever you say you want to be. That's the marketable one. But in reality, see it as a journey of discovery. See it as a journey of discovery. Once you see it like that, there's no absolutes. It's just you growing every day and eventually getting something that you will be happy about.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Because I believe that self-discovery is key. Some of us are in one space where truly is not ours. We're doing it because others are doing it. And then there's so much money in it. All right? But when you get there, you don't even know it. There's no passion. There's no fulfillment. So no matter how much you try it, you don't really enjoy it because that's not your space. So it's important for us to understand self-discovery, right? And I want to stick by that. Just like you said, it's important for us to understand. So please, just in case you're there, me, I've said it too, I'm not a tech person. And I want to just stay where I am. But I will still be working side by side so that it'll be easy for me, to enjoy all the things that I can get from a tech person. Now, what is mental health? I usually like to, define it in 3 words. It's easy for me in 3 words, and it just gets us to that place where we understand where we are. Basically, mental health is how we think, how we feel, and how we act. And that is the driver of our daily activity, because we think, we feel, and we act it. 3 things. I don't want us to go through the psychological, emotional, social, I don't. 3 things. How we think, feel, and act is mental health. And that is the driver of your daily activity. If you do not think well, definitely you will not think it or feel, experience it or express it well. And then it becomes something else. So I started with, just a percentage of, the social media platforms that the young minds are always using every day. So they are stuck here. They're stuck here. Like their life is literally here. And I'm saying this because I know how many teenagers are struggling with technology. I know how many teenagers, how many parents every day pick up letters of how their parents are horrible because the space here, seem to be so beautiful. So it's important that we strike a balance. Now it says that the 5 social networks most used by teenagers: Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. I don't even know that one, Seth. I've never even seen it, Seth. It's for tech. Okay. So basically so you can imagine someone's life revolves around here. What, the TikTok? Okay, should be here, right? Okay, so TikTok should even. Okay, so Albert Einstein said it has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. So we forget who we are. We're stuck with something else. Yesterday, one of my staff sent me something. She said, "Ma, you can even chat on WhatsApp with, I don't know what the thing is, whether it's I think it's AI. I don't know, Sha. But she forwarded the thing to me. And when I clicked on the link, it said, "Hi," he used my name on WhatsApp. He said, "Hi, Sam K. How are you today? And what would you like to talk about?" And I said to her, "You see, this is already getting into my brain." Exactly, because I start to have conversations and I find solace, there. And then it becomes my everyday thing. And then I forget the real person to speak with because there's someone there. So I said to her, "Me, I'm not going to have this conversation. I won't even go further because I can already see where the conversation is going to. If I say, 'Oh, I'm here because I'm lonely,' it starts telling me things about, 'Oh, you can do this.' I don't want to be there. So let me stay, in my own space so that I'm safe." So it's important. I know that every day, you all, guys, you're always stuck with your, devices. Basically, that's your life. Well, what do you do outside that? How do you help yourselves? How do you really come out of, situations of just being so attached to that? Because I mean, that's where you make money from. That's again another platform where you just derive pleasure. Like, it's just one thing I love to do, fulfillment. Like you love it, there's that connection. But what do you do? How do you help yourself as an individual outside all of these things? So it's important that, we look at that today. Next slide, please. Okay, so understanding the use of mental health amongst youths, positive impact of technology. Very, very important. Yes, we need to look at the positive impacts, right? It's so important. Access to information and education, connectivity and communication, skill development, innovation, career opportunities, health. But do we use them in this space is the question. In most cases. Really, when we have our phones, our laptops and all of that, is this where we are? Is this where we find ourselves? In most cases? I'm not sure. We do other things outside this. Please, can I have the next slide? I think my slide is missing because I'm struggling to see the first slide. Is it missing? Yes. Okay, the next one then, if it's not missing. So potential drawbacks and concerns in technology. Excessive screen time, cyberbullying and online harassment, addiction and dependency, privacy and security risks, mental health impacts, social comparison, isolation, self-esteem, social media. And I have heard of a lady who says to me, "You know what? I just checked my phone today and I saw my friend on Instagram looking very beautiful. Guess what? I really need to get a job." And I'm like, "Okay, you need to get a job." Meaning that you have seen someone who you think is doing well, but that could have just been a picture. Probably she just wanted to have, just look good. Maybe that's even her own way of making herself look good or feel good that day. But it has changed someone's ideology completely about themselves. So she's beginning to struggle. And so the truth is, some of us, even here, feel that others are doing better than they are. So, where am I? Who am I? Am I in the wrong industry? Am I really doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? I know some of us still ask these questions, but that is mental health for you, how we think, feel, and act. Next slide, please. The intersection, youth, and mental health. According to WHO, It says 10 to 20% of children and adolescents worldwide experience mental health. This is quite, I can't really see that. But it just tells you that so many people are struggling with one thing or the other. It's either depression, is either anxiety, is either eating disorder, sleep, is PTSD. It could just be anything. And the truth is, every one of us is a product of a comparison, or a product or of words. Here is a product of experiences. Every one of us here is a product of environment. Every one of us is a product of influence, meaning that we all are a puzzle and someone has fixed us. But how do you rediscover yourself? Is the question. Who are you? The impact of social media on mental health. I remember a lady who came to my office, I think in 2020 or 2021, and I think she was doing her internship with us, and a call came from London, and it was her best friend's call, and the best friend was crying. Apparently, her son picked up something that was delivered. Okay? And it was the mom who received it, but she didn't know what that thing was. Of course, you know how it is. Abroad, you can't ask so many questions. It's been delivered, it's been delivered. Unlike here that probably your mom will say, I mean, you're just 14, let me see what is inside. No. The mom didn't check, and eventually the boy took it. Apparently, they were learning a game online, and I think they were selling something, and that was how he took that thing and he died. Yes. So this is not story. They called her and she was in the office. That's what social media can do to us. Yesterday I got a call again from America, and the woman said, I found something in my daughter's room. She has listed all the men that she has, found on Snapchat. So she's stuck with that. And she says it's technology or nothing. Now, it's not because it's technology. It's because she has found solace there. So it's now becoming like, I want to learn it because I feel that I can have peace there. But that's not the real thing. The real thing is the root cause. Where you're coming from? Experience. Adverse childhood experience, ACEs. That's where she's coming from. So she's looking for a place to just get herself stuck. So a lot of us, like I said, we are just a comparison of so many things. But the question is, who are we? Next slide, please. Factors contributing to mental health issues. Of course, biological, traumatic experience, like I just mentioned, stress and pressure, social and environment. Basically, these are factors that contribute to mental health issues. And all of us have said, we have experienced one thing or the other. Is either the environmental factors, economy issue. In fact, yesterday they said there's no naira at the bank, so you can imagine. I know a lot of us are struggling. These are things that we experience, and that is who we are. So we struggle with all of these real things, and we put them, holding our devices, and we feel that, this is just a connection, and so let me just stay here. So it's important to strike a balance. Next slide, please. Okay, yeah. So I met media influence, which someone is already struggling with. This is where I want to be, so but it's important for us as tech to understand that we, as much as we're there regularly, we need to strike a balance. We need to have things that will also help us. Why can't you do without your laptop? Why can't you do without your phone? Why? Why do you need to have it 24 hours? Because that's your office? How about your own life, personal life? How do you balance that? They say self-care is not selfishness, Self-care is self-love. Don't think that, okay, I have 5 minutes. Don't think that, when you begin to care for yourself, then you're being selfish. No, you're just striking a balance. That's basically what you're doing, and it's very important. Next slide, please. Effects of tech on mental health. Physical health effects. Excessive screen time often leads to sedentary lifestyle and eye strain, sleep disruption, cognitive effects, behavioral change. Now, I want to talk on this. Behavioral change sometimes, sincerely, you have watched something, but you don't even know that indirectly you are acting it. That's what happens to us as human beings. So you don't even know that what you have just watched is already playing a huge role in your life. But that's not who you are. It's as a result of what you have just experienced. So it's important to know the things that you absorb, the things that you put inside of you. Next slide, please. Positive influence. Like I said, it's just that space, that safe space where you feel you can just talk. I never knew that I could even be on my own and chat online with just like that, WhatsApp. But that's what is happening now. So you just feel like technology has gone to that space where, that's what you can get. But are you enjoying it in a positive way or negatively? It's important for you all to know that your space is so interesting. It's just fun to be there. But there are other negative things that are attached to it. So it means that you have to take intentional decisions about what you do when you're around your space. The next slide. And one of the intentional I'll just talk about is, the next slide, please, which is the last one. Yeah, digital detox and unplugging. That's what I want to talk about. It's important for you to unplug, digital detox. Take away your phone sometimes, or your laptops, or whatever it is. You should have time for your own self, your life. Don't make it feel like without this, I just can't survive. It's a lie. You can, without your laptop, without your phones. Remember that there are other negative things. Of course, physical health. You don't sleep well. You're awake for hours. Naturally, the brain, there are two types. One is supposed to be sleeping in the night, and then one is supposed to be awake. So, but when you are awake all through, you have done something, you have reconditioned the one that is meant to be sleeping. And so something is happening in your body, negatively. So it's important for us to strike a balance. Your mental health is very, very important. Please learn to just, detox. Stay away, unplug, be alone. Forget about the whatever app that you're building or whatever for some minutes and just be yourself. 2 hours, 3 hours will not cost you anything. It will not. Absolutely. Because your life is also very important. Like I said, strike a balance. It's important to strike a balance. Lastly, I'll just say, believe it or not, mental health is real. Believe it or not, anxiety is real. Believe it or not, depression is real. Believe it or not, trauma is real. Believe it or not, that space reminds you of so many things. And it's just like, it begins to wake some things that you have left for so long untouched. So it's important to strike a balance. I like the fact that we're talking technology, but I want us to strike a balance because that space is safe, but not too safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much, ma. Mental health is very, very important. Just another reference to the typical Nigerian living in my house. My mom, I asked her a question when I was like, if you were to be stranded on a deserted island, what would you want to be stuck with? Like, you can only take one thing. What is that thing? And she was like, her phone. And obviously, it's not because she wants to, oh, it's the connection to the world, like to be able to get stuff. The only thing is just to play Candy Crush. It's just to play Candy Crush because she loves it so much. So mental health is very important, and it's important for us once in a while to just unplug and just, just talk to people. Not necessarily rely so much on being in that space, but talk to people and make friends. Like I think there's somebody, I think when they were talking and she was like, oh, my IRLs. And I was like, oh, IRLs, and like my in real lives. And I was like, okay, wow, in real life, that's so cool. Like, it's important for us to have like people that we communicate with outside rather than just being in that internet community, just there in the cloud. You see the church that meets in the cloud. So yeah, so it's important for us to just meet with people outside. So we're going to be inviting Mr. Justin, the CEO and founder of Mylash, to come and just give a brief statement. So let's just put our hands together for him.
Okay, so my very sincere appreciation to Dr. Sada, to Ms. Arowolo, and to every of our panelists that has, taken the panel session so far. I really want to appreciate you guys for being here. But I also realized that we have two sets of audience for this event. And so far it has been looking as if we have been facing more of the tech talent. We are saying leveraging Nigerian talent for digital transformations. And then the digital transformation is supposed to happen to businesses. Okay, so I wanted to come out here to make it make sense for those that have businesses here. I also understand that lots of our SMEs that signed up gave a really valid reasons why they would not be around, because they have businesses. And Saturday is a very important time for them to do business. So they said, you know what, and we have follow-ups, okay, to every of these things, because we are actually, like I tell my staff, I say this is not an event just to be an event. It's an event to say what, to start the conversation so that we can take actions, to follow up. Okay, so for our business people, of course, I'll be coming out a bit later, and I'll be making it all make sense, okay, on how you can actually get into what we're talking about and how you can leverage it to make your businesses digitalize and go global. Okay, so so far we would likely, let me not say wait, but we'll just try to shake ourselves a bit so that our Muslim brothers that went to pray will come back. But while we're doing that, if we can have a picture session with our panelists and our resource persons in general, so we can just take a picture here and just as a way of keeping busy, till we get into the next session. Please, guys, again, our sincere apologies for the delay. I have learned a lot, honestly. And one of the things I have learned is that, and it's funny, it's quite a challenge getting people to sit in one place during a conference. I didn't realize it was that challenging. Anyway, so please, our resource persons, let's just, come out and take pictures, please. Ma, SARS, please. Yes, please. We just stand out. So for those panelists that have spoken, those panelists that have not spoken, everybody in general, let's just have a general photo session, please. Okay, thank you so very much. I hope we've been able to relax a bit. I mean, stretch out, feel a bit more relaxed. Okay. So you might be wondering why we had to talk about mental health, and that's something I take very serious because this is my mentor, Dr. Saadatu. Really significant help to me since I moved to Abuja. So it turns out that we really have to pay attention, and I realized this since I started working with her. It's a lot, okay? Especially us tech people, we're just on our laptops, we're just doing that, and stuffs are happening, and we're not realizing that many of these things, if we should pay attention to our mental health, there's a lot more that we can even do in our own businesses, in our own career, okay? So that was the particular importance of that. I would, like I said before, I would yield the mic now to our MC so that she can continue with the sessions. Thank you guys so very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Justin. So we're going to be, so just because, before we quickly move on, I think someone said he had a question for Dr. Saadatu. So the person that has a question for Dr. Saadatu, just go quickly, we'll just do that like 1-2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I think if I've not learned anything today, literally, her presentation is meant for me, and just speak a lot. And again, at the end of the day, we should just try to make money. It helps, like you can bear me witness. When she was giving her the timing, yeah, like she bent like this, and so these are people that have money. They're talking. They control the time. Yeah, you can't give them time. So the question is, I have this friend at home, and anytime he jumped on Instagram, you'll be like, wow. Say, oh, mom, see this guy, card, like this my mate. We're from same school and all of these stuffs. So you look at my reaction, and the next thing you'll be like, not that I'm trying to compare myself. I'm just trying to like pick a challenge. And at the end of the day, this guy will not even do anything to see that maybe I'm trying to like do more. Then I'm trying to see how to categorize that, because I don't see that as maybe you are trying to pick a challenge. And if I say the enviness, he will now say, no, that is not an enviness. So I'm trying to see where we can categorize this kind of people in the space. Thank you.
Okay, so you have to understand that naturally some people just don't like doing things, but they like to have it. They don't like doing it. They don't like going through, stress to do things. They just want to see it happen. Okay? So you have sleepless nights, making sure that you learn stuff because you want to be somewhere. But this person just wants to be somewhere. But remember that some of us are broken. We're coming from a place of pain. So some things we can't learn because of where we're coming from. So he could be, like struggling in that space. You don't even know what he's going through. You can't even explain where he's coming from. You don't even know what is been running through his mind. You might see it as envy. You might see it as jealousy. You might see it as someone who's trying to compete. But sincerely, he just might be coming from a place of pain, because that is the only thing that has been given to him or her. So if you are in that space where you don't understand love, you don't understand how to go out and look for stuff, you don't understand what it means to have sleepless nights just to be somewhere, you don't have people that you look up to and say, you know what, I want to learn, I want to understand what they're doing. All you want is quick money. It's possible the person is coming from a place of pain. Remember I said we're all a puzzle, all right? You're formed in different, with different stuff, experiences and all of that. So it depends on where he's coming from. But I will say that sometimes, to be honest, you need to also take a 2-3 steps back and just let the person, find his space, or you can make recommendations. So maybe what you need to do is, because you need to help the person, so maybe what you need to do is also find things that will support him. Some of us learn things through the things we read. We don't want anybody to tell us who we are. But you can always send him little posts, like whatever you think is, motivating, inspiring, and all of that. But I can tell you, it's possible that the person is coming from some place that you just can't explain. And I think, yeah, so.
Thank you so much, ma. And one more question, please. If you can just do this very, very short. It can't be short. Okay, if you can't be short, if you can't be short, maybe we just hold on. We just move on to the next item. Okay, since he can.
Please, can I want.
Okay,
I
we want
want
to
to
just hear
hear
the
that.
question. Okay.
I'm really impressed. Sorry, let me start with my name is Kingsley Chikwendu. I represent Media Age. Honestly, I want to really appreciate the founder for bringing you in our talks concerning technology, because I remember a place I went through, an event that was held at the Musa Sharda Center. When I wanted to talk about, like, it looked as if my talk was going against technology. In a way, they stylishly brought out the mic, probably because they were being funded by the government. But I really appreciate you, ma, and I appreciate him too for bringing you in. Most times we talk about tech. It's a nice thing. But I would love to say, don't you think that technology is even doing damage to our society? Yet, we have lots of persons that make money from technology. I love what Revelation said, that there are some persons that go into going into something either because they want that they see it as a business, while others are trying to build a career from it. We have majority that are seeing most ventures just for business sake, and that's why you see them. We Nigerians, like, we hardly match best international practice. We are mostly after quantity, but quality is lacking. Now, coming from my field now, journalism, go to National Assembly. In fact, come to Nigerian society, you have many persons that are journalists. They'll pick up their phone, they'll go and create a website, they'll start posting. Go through what they're posting, nonsense. They're not passing I'm sorry to use that word, they're not passing the right message. What they should really be bothered about is the content. I'm getting to a point, man. Is the content. But they have already jumped into the message. Into the message. So now, my point is this. Don't you think that we are already missing it? We are trying to remedy the society. And we keep on pursuing technology, thinking like, yeah, that's the only thing that will remedy our lives. How can the remedy come into place? I have a suggestion. Where's our reading culture? Me practicing journalism today, I read philosophy and psychology. But seeing myself in the journalism world, I began reading newspaper at the age of 6, 7. Why? Because I saw my dad reading newspapers. That's why it is pertinent for us to understand that these kids that we see today, they do more of what they see us doing than what you ask them to do. Imagine a child of 3, 4, 5 years knowing how to play games with a phone. How do you think the child came about that? He or she always see the mother with her phone 24/7.
How about the father?
The same thing, man. But most times you see, like, it's the mothers that are mostly with the kids now. Ask them what they're doing with their phones. They can't even tell you. But man, if your child sees you every time reading your book, every time, keep your book and the phone before that child, he or she will pick that book. Because they want to know what is inside that book. And this is what has sprung up. Many persons, they'll go to Instagram, like you said, they'll see somebody dressed so tush. How is this person making it? They are jumping into that business side of it, but building a career. I'm here today. I told him, I only got to see the information about this program just 3 or 4 days back. See me here. But go and check other journalists. Those so-called journalists, they are at event places where they're going to be pursuing 10,000, 5,000 that they will give them. After giving them, where is the story? I've known a number of events that we've attended that has to do with innovation, improving the society. So now, sorry, the question here is this. Do you think parents are doing enough for our kids when it comes to technology advancement? Like, how do they remedy the society apart from technology, ma? Thank you.
So it's thank you for that question. It's important for us to also understand that some parents are also coming from a place of, I want to still use that word, they're broken. So they can't give what they don't have. What they have now is this one, and that's like a consolation. Do you understand? Some are really broken. Some have not, they don't understand that they need to seek help. Some don't understand that, they are coming from some place and that is also affecting maybe their children. So, but I want to use this space now to say this to the tech guys in this room. Please, just make sure that your children understand that your computer or your phone is your office, so that they don't see it as a lifestyle. Oh, my mom is always having her phone. Oh, that's why I love phones. Oh, my mom is always, doing Snap, and it could be that she's creating content. So it's important that we, set boundaries. So these children understand that when I see my mom with a laptop or I see her with her phone, she's probably working, and it's not like she's, on social media or doing other things. It's very important. Remember, it is what you give that the children also would duplicate. So give what you know will help them. Even when you are with the phones or laptops, please help them understand that there's a need to also censor some of the apps or whatever that they find. Okay? So parents, please, just in case you're here and you have really not been given, or you are struggling with something, please seek help. I'm begging you. Because these guys, the children are traumatized. So they learn from what you give. They learn from what you give and they become. Remember my last word. We are all a puzzle. If you want to dismantle your puzzle, get a new basket and begin to filter and fix a new puzzle, which is rediscovering yourself. I think you should do that. So we need to strike a balance, please, so we can understand that these things have a way of just affecting the children.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. So I'm going to be moving on to the next item really quickly. I'm going to be inviting our next speaker, Ms. Temitope Ruth Jacob, who is a branding specialist. So let's just give her a round of applause. Welcome, ma'am. So I'm going to do this really quickly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad you are here also. My name is Temitope Jacob, and I'm a branding and marketing strategist. I have a passion to see brands thrive, make sales, and evolve in the marketplace, okay? So it's more than a business for me. I call it's my ministry, or it's my calling. All right? So today we're going to be, sorry, can I have my slides so that I'll be real quick? Thank you. Yes, so someone will say, okay, Jeff Bezos said that your brand is what people say about you when you are not in the room. I want an electric car. What brand is that? I want fast internet. Globacom, MTN, whatever. But you know what I mean, right? So I want an efficient website, MyLash. All right? So your brand is who people say, or what people say about you when you are not in the room. Okay? So it's very important that we create a good brand for ourselves. Okay? So someone here said you either a tech person as in a career or as in a business. Right? So I'm a business person, but I'm not a tech person, but I work with tech people. In fact, I do tech a lot, but I keep it to myself that I'm a business person. Okay? So please, I would appreciate to have my slides real quick so that we can get started. So the digital space is fast evolving, all right? Growing up, and the amount of people in tech and the amount of people in tech 10 years ago and the amount of people in tech today has rapidly increased, maybe by 100% or 200%, all right? I have people who, you know, are in tech for either business or in their career. So it's very important that either you are in it as in a business or for a career, you should create a long-lasting brand around it. Okay, it is very, very important. For instance, I studied human anatomy in the university, but when people talk about branding, they call me, people around me, okay? Because I made an intentional effort to see that all I'm talking about is branding, all I'm doing is branding. So it's very important that you create a brand around yourself. So maybe I'll start my slides from here, but I would have appreciated you also saw it. So I'll be speaking on how we can leverage, how we can leverage branding and marketing strategies for digital transformation, because these are digital events. So I want to talk to you how you can leverage branding and marketing to optimize your business in the marketplace. So please, can I have the next slide? Now, the digital landscape is fast evolving, you know, trends are setting in, people are doing different things, just like we've been hearing today. People are doing things. When you think about something, 2,000 people are thinking about it. And that's very important because I keep telling people, you are in business not to be in competition with your neighbor who is in the same business. So in marketing, there's something we call SWOT analysis. You analyze your strengths, you analyze your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats, and all of that, okay? Your competitors. Because your competitor is not your enemy. Okay, I did a training for the American Embassy, and I made some people understand that they feel I'm in the cream industry and you are also making skincare cream. We are enemies. No. MTN and Glow are not enemies. So even as a tech person, right, you work for maybe Flutterwave and you work for InterSwitch. Thank you. I'm not a tech person. Right? Right? So we are not in competition. We are not enemies, okay? So you are just in you are in the business, you are in competition to analyze what is this person's strengths, right? And then you outline your own weaknesses, outline their weaknesses and see how you can strengthen up in that level. I don't know if you're understanding me. Okay, so whether you are in tech or not, because I'm meant to understand that this event is for people both in tech and people that are not in tech, how they can leverage, you know, to take their business to tech, through tech to other customers, right? Am I right, Mr. Mylash? Okay. So, whether you are a skincare owner, and I will say this, as a business person, you are either a service provider or a product owner, okay? So, whether you are making skincare products or you are making, sorry, I'm not a tech person. All right, so I'm trying to wrap this up real quick. So please, it is important for you to know that you are not in competition with your neighbor doing the same thing, but you are seeing their weaknesses and see how you can outline them and strengthen up in that aspect and then build your brand on it, okay? So it's very important. So Nigeria is a very, very hot bed of digital people these days, you know, building websites, managing websites, and all of that, okay? So thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of that. Let me get the next slide, please. So the importance of branding and marketing in digital transformation. So when we talk about branding, we talk about how you can maintain your brand presence. And then when you talk about marketing, we're talking about how you can promote your business and services online. Okay, so it is very important for you to know how you can attract the right customers, how you can build your brand trust, how you can build your brand loyalty. It's very important to increase sales. Okay, so please, the next slide. So it's very important for us to know how you can invest in your brand, invest in your branding, invest in your brand image, and see how you can attract the right customers and see how you can sustain them. Okay, so next slide, please. What is marketing? I'm meant to understand that the whole slides for everybody is on the portal. So you can, I think, scan the barcodes and then have access to some of the slides. So please, I'll be going very real quick. So what is marketing? It is the term that encompasses everything that has to do with promoting a product or a service, right? Online, offline. So we have the traditional system of marketing, which is offline, and then we have digital system of marketing, which is online. Okay, so in marketing, there's something we call the marketing mix, or the 4 Ps. In recent times, they've made it the 7 Ps, but the 4 Ps stands for promotion, product, price, and place. Okay, promotion, you know, everything has to do with online PR, offline PR, how people get to know about your products and all of that. Then the product is either you are a business, as a business owner, I've said this before, it's either you're a service provider or you are a product owner. Product owner meaning you're making physical products, okay? If you're a service provider, it means they are intangible. You can't touch them, but their services being rendered to you. So as a tech person, you're meant to be a service provider. And then your price stands for, the price in the marketing piece stands for your pricing strategies, how you price your goods, you know, and all of that. So the fact that Apple is selling for $1,500 and ITEL is selling for, in dollars now, let me say $50. So it's their pricing system, it's their pricing strategy due to perceived value. Okay, so it's important that you know these things as a business owner. You can't just start a business today. You can actually start a business today and decide to start selling your cream for 300,000 naira when other people are selling for 30,000 naira. So it depends on the perceived value you are offering as a business owner. So it's very important. Someone will say some people, some tech guys are earning $5,000 per month. I have friends who are earning $10,000 per month. And then there are still some tech guys that are making $100 per month. Some are not even making money yet at all. So it depends on you. It depends on your pricing system. If you go on Upwork, you go on LinkedIn, everybody has their own pricing systems. So it depends on what you want to do, your perceived value, and how you want to offer it in a marketplace. And then we have the place. So the place stands for your distribution channel, where you want to distribute these services. Are they online? Are they offline? So it all depends on you when you are making or analyzing your business plan. Sorry, I said I'm not a tech person, I'm a business woman. Please, let's move to the next slide. Yes. So, what is branding? Branding is the art and science of influencing the perception about a product or a service. For instance, I said, I want electric cars, and someone say, oh, go to tesla.com. Okay, so it's the brand. That is what that's the value they put, the perception. When you perceive something of that sort, or you think about it, you think about that brand, okay? So it's very important. So for you as a business owner, please, it is important for you to know your identity in the market, your positioning, your voice, and then your experience. Very, very important. Please, I would like you to scan the barcodes. Please, at the end of this session, please just display the barcode for them so that they can scan it and have access to these materials. Very important. Sorry, I'm going real quick because I know our time is fast spent. So, branding is a strategic element that defines your identity and value proposition in the marketplace, okay? So when you are a business owner, you're either a service provider or a product owner. Please have it at the back of your mind, know where your business stands so that you can brand it strategically. So the slide before now, yes. So so your identity involves your visual elements, your logo, your taglines and all of that, your typography, your color scheme. Very important, because some people come to me and they want to create a brand. They don't even know, they'll tell me any color that suits you. No color suits me. Okay, it is very important. You have to check colors. Blue stands for royalty, purple stands for elegance, white stands for transparency. So what are the values, what are your goals as a business owner? So these will help you align and choosing colors for your brand. So it is very important. Some people come and say, you are the branding expert here. I say, no ma, it's your strategy. It's what you want that we're going to use, okay? So it is very important, please, if you are developing tech, if you are in tech as in a business, right? So you need to create a brand around it. That's the importance of this session. Create a brand around it. Get a graphic designer, they design a logo for you, befitting to you, all right? So let me tell you something about logos. Logos is your identity in the marketplace. Okay, so it is peculiar to you. For instance, the Dangote logo, all right? It has an eagle around it. Now tell me, in the Dangote brand, there are attributes of an eagle. True or false? Now, that's very important. So that's how you align your brand values to outline in the marketplace. Okay, so it is very important. There are different types of logos. You can research about it. Okay, so it's up to you. Choose symbols that align with your values, with your goals, with your vision, and tell the graphic designer, and he'll come up with a visual element for you to use. Okay, so it is very important. Your color scheme, I just said that, and then your typography. Do you want your fonts to be stylish? Have you seen Mylash logo? If you ask them, there's a concept behind it. So you have to have the concept behind your brand identity. Okay, so it is very, very important, because your logo is your perceived. Nobody will see Coca-Cola logo and say they don't know this is Coca-Cola. Okay. No, let me not use Coca-Cola because it's a font logo, so you can read that. For instance, you see a bank's logo, right? A particular bank. Maybe they put all the banks for you here, and you see a Z in a box, in a cube box. Or you see a P with stack of elements. You know that this is Polaris Bank. You know that this is GT Bank, okay? So they have systematically made their logos that way, so that when you see it, you know that they are the ones, okay? So it is very important. So please, it's important for you to understand the concept behind your logo, your color scheme, and your identity, so that you can stand out in the marketplace. And then number two, your positioning is about where you want to stand in the marketplace, how you want to be perceived. Do you want to be perceived as a luxury brand? Do you want to be perceived as someone that is there to cater for the middle class? Or do you want to cater for the masses? Do you want to cater for people that, you know, don't really have money? Okay, so it's very important. It all boils down to you, your target market. That's what it's called in the marketing world. Your target markets, or your ideal customers, or your target audience, okay? They all mean the same thing. So it all boils down to you. For instance, Mylash can be building websites for people that can afford only $1,000 and above. You won't come and say, because Mylash is doing this, don't set that as a standard, please. It is very important. Okay, you know your perceived value, you know where you are coming from, you define your own target audience. Mylash has defined his, defined yours. Tesla has defined his target audience. Elon Musk, if you don't have $50,000, you cannot buy my car. Stay there, go and buy BMW, go and buy Toyota and all of that, okay? So it's very important. You build brand for a particular target audience, not for everybody. DSTV is not for everybody. GoTV is for certain classes of people. And then you can do something like what DSTV did, right? There's DSTV, there's GoTV, okay? GoTV is a subsidiary of DSTV. DSTV is meant to be for the high class. GoTV is meant to be for, you know, middle class, people that can't really afford that premium channel access, right? So it is very important for you to know where you stand. How you position your brand in the marketplace affects you long time. Long time. Someone met me and I gave a quotation for a job, and they're like, "Madam, your price is too high." I said, "Please, that is my standard price." And they called someone else and he did the job. Exactly the same thing I was supposed to do. Believe me. And then I went for another job, and I submitted a proposal for another job, and immediately they gave me the job in millions. Meaning somebody else had, they brought in different proposals. So someone else had submitted a proposal higher than mine. and I got the job this time around. So you have to define your target audience, your pricing system, very important, very, very important. I was talking to Justin the other day, and I had this level of clients, and I was saying, oh, can I charge them between 1 million and 2 million naira, or should I just go for 4 million? And then I said, Justin, I need to change. I'm starting at 3 million naira. And they came and said, sorry, I'm using figures, I'm very sorry. So, and they came and they gave me the job, okay? So it's very important. And because somebody, when I found out later, someone had charged 20 million for that same job. And they gave me that charge 3 million. And for me, I'm thinking it's a breakthrough. Okay, so it is very important you outline where you want to stand in the marketplace. Very important. Very, very important. Don't get carried away, like what they said, what the speakers have said earlier. Some people, could be charging $10,000 for their sessions or for their services. You want to cater for people that have $100. Please stay there. Very important. Stay there. Stay there. Because those people, their perceived value, just like I said, you might be doing the same thing, but the perception to the value is different. Based on their level, based on their influence, based on a whole lot of elements around it. So it is very important to know where you position yourself, how you position yourself in the marketplace. And then your voice, right? Your brand voice. That's the tone to which you want your brand to communicate to its audience, If you check all of this, there's a tone to which MTN communicates to their audience. There's a tone to which GT Bank communicates to their audience. So it's very important for you to lay all this out. And then number 4, I know you cannot see it, is your experience. This is your interaction through which your customer, how you rate your customer rating, right? How your customer interacts with the brand. There are some brands that you have to go there physically. There are some you can reach them online. They have chatbots on their websites and all of that. They have numbers, you can reach them. So it all depends on you. So please, it is very important. I put this in four different steps. Your identity, importance in the market, your positioning, your voice, and then your experience. Please don't forget this. Next slide, please. So what's the relationship between marketing and branding? Okay, very important, because some people tell me, oh, marketing is not branding. Some people come and say branding is marketing. So I said it here, I wrote it here, I said, branding is not about having a catchy logo or a memorable tagline. It's the strategic elements that defines the identity and value proposition of a business, right? I've said it before and I'll say it again, your pricing system is dependent on the perceived value, okay, that you want to render to the customer, while marketing strategies may change. So your branding strategy is a long-term goal. Okay, please have it at the back of your mind that your branding strategy is a long-term goal to where you want your brand to be. But your branding strategy, right? But marketing strategies may change due to trends. Have you heard that Instagram algorithms have changed? It used to be reels, it used to be this, it used to be that. Now it's by your high and relevant content. Your stuff will go viral, okay? So it depends on you. So marketing strategies may change to adapt to market systems, market trends, and all of that. But your branding strategy is a long-term goal. So I asked business owners, young business owners, do you have a business plan? Your business plan must not be a bulky book. Growing up and then, my early years in the industry, I used to think business plan, when they say business plan, you're going for Tony Elumelu. The business plan is like 5 books attached together. It mustn't really be like that. For you as a business owner, it is simple. What's your mission? What's your vision? What are your values? Okay, how do I want to position my brand in the marketplace? It is very important for you to know these things. So please take notes. A strong brand presence can provide stability and direction in the ever-changing marketplace. Okay, so please have it at the back of your mind that the marketplace changes, but your branding strategy becomes constant. Okay, so next slide, please. So why is branding important in marketing? Okay, so there is branding in marketing, and then there's the branding and marketing relationship. Please take notes. So number one, we have differentiation. You know, the marketplace is saturated in tech alone. If, for instance, we do a poll and, you know, send to the whole of Nigeria, how many people are in tech? You'll be surprised. Okay, you'll be very surprised at the numbers. How many people are in skincare business? You'll be surprised. How many people are in cooking businesses? You'll be very, very surprised. So the marketplace, is very strategic, is very crowded, but your brand helps you to stand out in the midst of that competition. For instance, in the telecommunications industry, there's MTN, among a few others that we know. There's Globacom. There is, which other one, please? Airtel, which other one, please? Nine Mobile, which other one, please? There's even Starlinks now. You know, there are a lot. But, you know, what differentiates one from one is their brand identity. Okay, what they stand for. Some people will tell you they prefer Glo because of their cheap internet rates and all of that. Some people tell you, oh, I use MTN, but then the MTN may be a bit expensive, but I like the fact that their network is almost everywhere. You know, it's accessible, 5Gs and all of that. Some people come and tell you, no, I prefer Airtel because of this. So you can see that the marketplace is saturated. And they have defined their target markets. So you have to define yours even as a little business owner. Don't say, I don't have an office, so I no need for me to create a brand. Don't say that, please. Even from your little room with your little laptop, you have a brand. Okay, so it is very important. Come up with a business name, come up with a brand name, position it, you know, check your competitors. What are they doing? How can I do it better? Okay, there might be 5 million people in the cooking business, but this differentiates Tastia from another restaurant. Okay, so it is very important for you to know this. So differentiation. Okay, so that's what differentiates Mylash from another tech company. Very important. Number two, customer loyalty. Okay, a compelling brand can turn first-time buyers into long-time buyers, and that's what we call customer loyalty. We have something we call in the marketing world the buyer's triangle, or the marketing funnel. Okay, from awareness down to loyalty, because you want your customers to be aware of your brand and then become loyal to you. Okay, so it is very important, loyal to the point that they become advocates of your brand. Okay, so number three, we have premium pricing. Strong brands can command higher prices due to perceived value they offer. It is very simple. It is very, very simple. You look at a particular website and be like, oh, why are the colors like this? Why are the fonts like this? That person could have paid 50,000 naira. But you go to another website that was made for, let's say, 200,000 naira. And then you see everything is looking so good. You might not even have money to purchase or to, you know, buy from that particular company, but you have they will have what you call longer dwelling time on their website. Am I correct? Is it dwelling time? Yes. Okay, so that is due to perceived value. You like the colors, you like the fonts, everything is synchronizing, right? The user experience is amazing. So please, you have to note these three things. Why branding is important in marketing. Number one, differentiation. Number two, customer loyalty. And number three, premium pricing. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is something we call the brand management cycle. So as a business owner, I said it earlier, you are either a product owner or a service provider. Okay, so brand management is the art and science of sustaining a brand. Okay, very important. So number one, we have the brand strategy. This is the initial phase where you define your brand, what your brand stands for, mission, vision, target audience. Very important. And that's where a lot of people miss it. And then some people come to me, and they say, people are not patronizing my brand. And I ask them, who are your target audience? I say, I don't know, I just want to sell. But it's very wrong. Okay, you have to target, even when you're doing Instagram ads, Facebook ads. There's what we call detailed targeting. You target down to their income level, their educational qualification. It is very important. If not, your ads will keep going to the wrong people. The Instagram will keep charging you $1 per day, and you're not making sales. Okay, so it's very important you know who your target audience are in business. So number one, we have the brand strategy. Number two, brand implementation. This involves creating a brand elements like logo, visuals, taglines, and all of that. I've said this before. Number three, we have brand measurement. So we have metrics like brand awareness. For instance, I said electric cars, and you already said Tesla. So that's brand awareness. So I want to say, I don't know your business, but you know, you should have a certain level of awareness amongst your target audience, okay? So brand awareness, brand equity, customer satisfactions can all be evaluated. And then number four, brand refinement. Measurements, and based on your measurements, the brand strategy can be refined. Meaning, after you have measured all of this, and maybe it's not adding up, right? You can redefine it. So you can start all over again. So the cycle then returns back to the strategy, making it a continuous loop. So there's room for continuous improvement, okay? Next slide, please. Okay, so what is the importance of brand management? Number one, customer loyalty. Number two, competitive advantage. And number three, brand equity. Very important. Next slide, please. So this is the brand SWOT analysis. There's the marketing SWOT analysis, and then there's the brand SWOT analysis. Now, to identify your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of your brand. Okay, so please, it is very important. This should be your take home from my session today. Please go home and then do your branding SWOT analysis. Your competitors might be what's the biggest tech company, ma? One of the biggest. Yes, in Nigeria. Flutterwave. Your competitors can be Flutterwave. But that's if you are targeting the same audience they are targeting. Your competitors can be Mylash. He's not your enemy. In fact, you can collaborate with them, if you may, right? But it's important for you to know who they are, and then list your internal advantages that your brand have, what you want to give out in the marketplace. It's either you are a service provider, this is for everybody, even if you're not in tech, okay? And then number two, your weaknesses, list the internal disadvantages your brand faces, right? Number three, the opportunities, list the external factors your brand can capitalize on. And then number four, the threats, list the external factors that could harm your brand. Now, aligning all of this will help you long term. Believe me. Please, next slide, please. Branding in the digital age. Now, this is where we are. Now, the digital age has revolutionized the way brands interact with each other. Now you can go online. Now you can see a lot of brands. You can see what they are doing. I can be here and purchase from Tesla. I can be here and buy things from Gucci, okay? So the digital age has revolutionized a lot of things for us. So there are various channels. Number one, social media. Number two, SEO. Social media, you can make use of channels like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok, and then SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization. This is how your brand can be ranked in the search engine. And then, sorry, next slide. I'm almost done. Content marketing. This involves creating valuable content to attract the right customers. And then number four, your analytics tools can help you measure the effectiveness of digital branding. You can use, there's Facebook analytics to show you how many people your post has reached, how many people that clicked on it, your click-through rates, conversion rates, and all of that. You can measure all of that. Number three, I said content marketing, yes, creating high valuable content. Next slide, please. Yes, so how to develop a digital branding strategy. Number one, you identify the channels. I've said this before. Number two, you create a content plan. You know, there's something we call content calendar. There are so many apps for that. You can use your phone and to also do it. iPhones do it also. And then number three, your KPIs. KPIs stand for key performance indicators, meaning you can set goals like in the next 3 months, I want to have reached so amount of people. So amount of people would have been aware of my brand. So amount of people would have purchased from my brand. So those are KPIs to measure your success. But even though you don't reach those KPIs, you would see a significant progress, because that is what's going to keep you on your feet, to keep advertising, to keep promoting, and all of that. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, branding and marketing is very essential, very, very important in creating a strong online presence. I've been doing branding for years. In fact, I've had a lot of high-paying clients, but I didn't see the need to go online. In fact, of recent, you won't even see my most recent jobs on my platform. So, but the importance of branding and marketing cannot be overemphasized, because it is very important. And you know, imagine I put those my jobs on my platforms, it will attract higher jobs for me, right? So it's very important. People should learn how to, business owners should harness the use of branding and marketing, and then they can help businesses attract the right customer, build brand loyalty, and increase sales. This should be your benchmark in every business, right? To attract you the right customer, build the brand loyalty, and increase sales. Now, by investing in branding and marketing, businesses create a strong online presence and achieve online success in the digital age. So thank you very much. I hope you have learned something. So please, you can do your brand SWOT analysis, very important. It will help you in the marketplace. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, so we are going to take one question for Mrs. Temitope. So let's take one quick question for you.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yes.
I am Omar Farouk by name, and my question goes like, I am actually employee trying to extend having additional cash flow, planning to get into business. Okay. So my question is, please, can you help me and tell me the easiest way to have a comprehensive business plan, like what it takes to that make business plan look attractive and good.
Okay, that's a very important question. So just like I said, developing a business plan, you mustn't have a 50-page booklet, right? Applying for loans and grants is different. Some people use that to measure how they should, prepare their business plan, but that should not be your basis for preparing a business plan. It's as simple as what I've presented in the slide, right? You attract your target audience. So please get the slide and do your brand SWOT analysis. Very important. Outline your strengths. You work for a tech company. What do you do? Manufacturing? What? Oil and gas business. Great. So you have your brand SWOT analysis. So you're trying to go on your own. Is that what he said?
I think he said he's going to his own business.
Your own company. Yeah, business, yeah. Your own business.
Not necessarily what I'm doing.
Not the company you're working on. Okay, so great. So you do your brand audits, right? You check your so you want to learn how to create a business plan. Is that what you're saying? Great. Now, like what we said, your identity is important in the market. Your logo, your color scheme. You can meet me after now. I'll give you my number. I have a branding and marketing company. We can help you develop a strong brand identity system. But if you want to do it personally, please check on the slides for everybody here. You want to do it by yourself without paying a dime, please check on the slides, do your brand SWOT analysis, and it's going to help you. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. Thank you so much. Like she said, on the participant card that was given to you, there's the QR code, so you can just scan it to get access to the slides. So I'm going to move on quickly to the next thing. So we're going to move on. The next agenda is going to be the panelist discussion. We're going to have another panelist discussion. I'm going to be inviting the panelists. So the first speaker is going to be Agbo Obinaya, who is a lawyer, a key participant in the blockchain industry, and an entrepreneur. So let's just put our hands together for him and just as he comes. So the next person is going to be Abel Ejiofor, an African growth, tech, and leadership strategist and global business consultant. And then the last person is going to be Nosa Okuelegbe, a seasoned VR game developer. So just put our hands together for them. I'm going to be inviting Mr. Matthew Ikushoni, who is going to be
mediating this session, and it's titled Empowering the Next Generation, Strategies for Tech Education and Skill Development, delving into effective methods and initiatives aimed at equipping Nigeria's youth with essential tech skills for the future workforce. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Please, can we just put our hands together for the panelists? Okay, thank you. This topic is about helping young people learn about technology and get better at it. We will talk about ways to teach them and give them the skills they need for the future. Thank you. So, over to Mr. Agbo. Agbo. I think I'm getting that right. Agbo. Okay. How can we teach young people about blockchain and the law to prepare them for future tech careers based on your expertise?
Good afternoon, everyone. So his question is how we can teach young people about the blockchain and law.
Yes.
So Nigeria generally, we will not say the government has fully adopted the use of blockchain technology in our business transactions, but then individually, I believe Nigerians have, to an extent, adopted it because it's a way to like get the problem solved since the banking system is not really as effective as it should be. So as a lawyer, I'm also in the blockchain industry. I've happened to work fully as a content writer. I've also worked as a business developer. I also have graphics design skills. I started as a graphic designer. We have graphic designers in the building. We have content guys, content creation. Thank you. So starting with graphic designing, it was not really pushing. So I had to scale. I entered into business development. So when you have different skills, it kind of helps put you ahead of other people, your peers, who are also doing the same thing you are doing. So teaching young Nigerians how they can leverage blockchain and the law generally is on its own, and blockchain is on its own. And Nigeria does not have a welcoming legal environment for blockchain technology to try fully. So people like us currently, we are working remotely, you know, in the for blockchain, not as a lawyer. As a lawyer, I go to office almost every day. But then as someone in the blockchain industry, I have to work remotely because Nigerian tech companies don't really come through financially as they should. So how do we teach young Nigerians to leverage blockchain technology? One, if we can bring blockchain technology into what we do every day, it will help us learn. For example, if you really have to do something and it takes you to know how the blockchain works, you have to learn it, even on your own. A lot of resources are out there, Google, you can even ask ChatGPT and it will break it down for you. All of us, we know about ChatGPT, right? Yeah. Thank you. So these are ways, if we put it as part of the things we do daily, most of us use Binance, you understand, to trade your cryptocurrency. So if you can do it on your own, it's easier because it's part of your day-to-day activity. Another way you can do this is through online educational platforms. Udemy offer all these blockchain courses and all of that. You can also go on YouTube. You understand? So these are ways you can teach Nigerians on how to leverage blockchain technology.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please, can we clap for him? And over to Mr. Abram. Drawing from your experience as a global business consultant and tech strategist, how can leadership principles be integrated into tech education to empower Nigerian youth for future workforce challenges?
Okay. Thank you, Matthew, for that question. How can we incorporate leadership into tech education
Yes.
to ensure that young people are better positioned as we leverage them for digital transformation?
Yeah. In their
So,
work.
yeah. So I believe most of us have been hearing the stories of the rise and fall of several fintech companies. You know, they secured $2 million funding round. Then 2 weeks later, they close out. One even secured $2 billion from Y Combinator. It's a fintech company in Nigeria. And before we knew it, it wasn't up to 2 months, they closed out. I can answer that question because I've worked with a lot of startup founders, and 90% of them actually don't care about solving problems. They want to make money, right? Yeah. It's not bad to make money, but if you're making money and you're solving problems, that's what's best for us as a system. And one of the reasons why, or one of the ways that we can incorporate leadership into their educational framework is to give them hands-on experiences before they go in to found their own companies. So if there's a regulation body for startups in Nigeria, right, that says, okay, before you go for funding rounds, you're going to go through certain leadership checks, right? So I know one of the fastest ways you can know a startup founder that is not interested in building a company or building value over time is that their, what do you call them? The team that starts out with them, right? They don't reward them in shares or equity. They put them on salaries. So that's a very terrible thing because everybody has spoken about how young startups like cheap labor and they want people to do, you do multiple tasks and you are paid very meagerly for it. I had a case with a particular startup founder who his team members had to clearly come to him and say, you are expecting us to do work as though we are co-founders and we are starting this company with you. Yet you pay us very meagerly. We can't continue with you. And it was like a joke. This startup actually closed down. Do you understand? So most times what we need to do is subject startup founders to accelerators. Let these accelerators monitor their leadership skills and qualities. It's not okay to just see the numbers and the figures and say, oh, great, let's just, invest in this business, let's invest in that business. That's one. Secondly, we could actually incorporate leadership curriculum to startup ecosystems, right? So the 3MTT program, you see all tech skills there, most likely, but you won't see leadership. And the reason for that is because most times we don't think that these guys need leadership skills. Some people on this panel has spoken about tech as a business and tech as a career path, right? Understanding where you want to go to from the beginning will condition your learning pattern. And having a mindset of creating value is what will actually change a whole lot of things for your organization. Two things, let me summarize it again. First, let's have a system that can check these startup founders, maybe through accelerators or one or two other things, right? Secondly, let's incorporate leadership to the training of tech people. Most of them have skills, but they are not good business managers. They can't organize businesses. And they will not want to employ a business developer to help them. They want to do it themselves. So you see a startup founder, he will go and collect a gig. He'll tell his team that they will submit this particular project in the next 2 months. You didn't even discuss with a project manager. You didn't even know whether or not the team has the capacity, because every tech team is not the same. You don't know whether they have the capacity to be able to deliver that. So all of those problems is because they've not gotten that orientation. They've not gone through. In fact, they don't even know they need that leadership skill. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much. Okay, over to Mr. Nosa. As a VR game developer, how do you propose integrating virtual reality technology into tech education to enhance skill development and engage the next generation in learning?
Okay. First off, a big thank you to Mylash for organizing this. Like, it's really, I've not been to something like this recently. I've not been to something like this recently, and yeah, it's I don't know what word to use, but like it's a really good thing that they've done this. I appreciate it. So to your question, first off, would want to understand that I don't know if everybody in the audience understands what virtual reality is. VR is part of Web3. It's a major part of Web3. But the thing is, it's one of the part that is most invested in right now. It's one of the part that is receiving the most funding, but it's as though in this part of the world it's not being concentrated on. So to your question about how we can leverage for learning, it is, if we understand what VR is, it's almost obvious how it should be used for learning. Because virtual reality, it's about, okay, we are here in this physical space. We can see, and then hear, touch, and all of that, right? But then you can also create a virtual space that takes all of those our sensory inputs, that sound, speech, and whatnot, and then replaces them with digital inputs, and you will be convinced you are somewhere else. So at the forefront of this technology, you have the Oculus, which Meta bought eventually, and then you have Apple coming in. You have some Chinese companies, I've forgotten their name. So these are investors coming into this space. So how do we now use this for education? So imagine describing things that are so abstract. You know, there's this thing we used to say growing up, maybe in secondary school, you'd be like, oh, there are some concepts that was taught to us in secondary school that you would not understand unless you had like visual examples, right? Assuming you were doing chemistry and then somebody's announcing or trying to describe a very crazy formula to you, and it makes sense to them and it makes sense in the real world. It's probably even applicable. But the fact that it's so abstract, is numbers, is CH plus BH, and then it's giving you, like, it's so far from you that, first of all, you are completely not interested, and then you don't even know how to apply this knowledge. So VR brings it even closer. Instead of having to explain to a student how an engine works, how the efficiency of a machine would work, let them wear a headset, let them see the engine, explain the concepts to them, why it happens in real time. So at that point, that information that you're trying to present to the students or to the client is so visible, it's so normal, it's almost there. They can touch it, that they don't have an excuse to not understand. I'm sorry to say that because you still maybe not understand it, but then it's almost as if at that point it is so clear. It is so clear what is supposed to happen. So assuming you're trying, for the children in kindergarten, you're trying to explain to them, oh, this is a lion. You don't have to take them to the zoo. You can, but why put a virtual lion in front of them? Even if it's AR, augmented reality, that means they don't have to wear a headset completely. They can just be on their phone, they project it, and then while we are seeing nothing there, they are seeing a lion in front of them, right? So this can be used to describe new things, very foreign topics that are usually so foreign that most people cannot even grasp them. They can be used to describe them and like communicate them very clearly. So there are so many fields that this can be applied to across education. Okay, so when we just started out, with the first opportunity we had as an agency was to create training programs, virtual training programs for divers. So there are some divers that work in oil rigs. They have to dive under the sea to go and weld. So that's a very high risk environment. How do you teach that? So somebody that probably has not, maybe let's say obviously they would know how to swim. You know how to swim, you've not, what's it called, diving, you've not done diving before, then welding. So all of these skills, you are going to incorporate them for the first time, and you're just supposed to incorporate them in the real world, in the real scenario. So it's too much that can go wrong at the same time. So we built an app that allowed them to experience, obviously they cannot experience diving where we are in our headset, but allowed them to experience something like welding, and then the possible, what I call them failures that would happen in real time. So in the space of learning, virtual reality can be, in fact, that's one of the spaces where it should be applied the most. Another place, I don't know if I'm taking too long, but another place where it can be applied is real estate. And that's kind of our major focus below gaming, because the first focus we have as an agency is gaming. Below gaming is real estate, because there was a time where you presented plans. You draw box. This is your living room, this is your kitchen, this is your dining, and then you present it to your client. You can't do that now. You can technically, but the market will not allow for it. It's so competitive that where somebody else is presenting an animated video, you are presenting floor plans. Even if you have a better job, it does not scale. So there's a next step. After we have presented floor plans and now we are presenting 3D, we are going to eventually have to present virtual spaces where I tell you I'm going to design a two-bedroom flat for you, and then I show you the two-bedroom flat before you even go to site. You live in it, you arrange your furniture, you do everything before you ever get to even buy the land. So these are the possible applications of VR. There's a lot across a lot of spaces, and we just are not looking at it. And it's fine, because that's usually what happens until the foreigner brings it to us. We don't adopt as fast. But I would employ all of us to look at these spaces as especially in their infancy, because this is a chance for giants to be made. Thank you.
Contribute to. Let me contribute to what you've said. So, in contribution to what you said with regards to VR and then augmented reality, the last conference that the Ministry of Communication, the M33, yeah, I was moving from booth to booth, and in one of those booths, I came across one guy, Forest Labs. That's the name of their company. His name is John Onibo. They designed a chemistry lab. So, for secondary schools now, you don't have to have a real lab. So you can mix your chemicals using augmented technology, So you can you see the way it reacts, and it is the same thing that will happen if you do it in real life, that you'll be seeing. So it is not something that is foreign to us. It's something that is already happening here in Nigeria. And just like you said, the adoption, the way people are looking, the way they are accepting it. Right? This guy went to schools, and the proposals are being looked as if these are not things that are possible. You understand? So that's just it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, your next question, Mr. Agbo Ominaya, is how can we inspire Nigerian youth to start business using blockchain and other tech and other new tech, considering your experience in entrepreneurship?
Okay. I think usually we tend to run to government most times when we want to influence a particular behavior. Generally, example, if we want people to start accepting cryptocurrency, we say we should tell the government to regulate, but everything is not about the government. It starts with us, and then most times the governments are forced to regulate it this time because they see that people are doing these things. Example, let's say I sell coffee at Beggar. Beggar is a particular, I think everyone knows Beggar. There's lots of Beggar in Abuja. So let's say I have a coffee shop in Beggar, and then I put a signage. We accept crypto payments here. You understand? And everyone who is in your line notices that if someone does not have real cash, fiat, if I don't have currency in my hand, I can just come with my Binance app or VTrader. I work for VTrader Africa. I'm the content manager there. So currently, VTrader allows you to accept cryptocurrency payments for anything you are selling, both products and services. Let's say you are a graphic designer or a web designer, just like Milash, and I'm a foreign client, and I don't want to use Paystack or all this other, because they have to charge fees for that too, you understand? And I just want to pay, let's say, not up to $1 for transaction fees, because crypto payments, except you are using Ethereum, which it fluctuates, by the way. So, and you don't want to pay much for your transaction fees. Even banks, when you make transfers, they charge you for those transfers. But then with cryptocurrency, the transaction fees are usually small. So if for your business you accept crypto payments, no matter what you are offering, I'm a writer too. I write. Most of my payments are not Nigeria. And one good thing about accepting crypto payments is this: let's say you accept $50 in Bitcoin, and currently Bitcoin is actually on a bullish movement currently. I think since last week or beginning of this week. So, and the Bitcoin ETF is, let's say, between next year, January 5th to January 10th, they are most likely the Security and Exchange Commission in the US are most likely to approve it. Now, what it means is there will be mass adoption. People who trade forex or that is correct cryptocurrency or normal currency, people who trade forex or people who trade stocks, now we have to also trade Bitcoin. You understand? Invest in Bitcoin without having to own Bitcoin. Just like you invest in stock without having to own shares in those companies. You understand? That's what the ETF is all about. So once it's approved, obviously, you know it's going to add more to the bullish movement of Bitcoin. In other words, if you've accepted crypto payments at a particular time, there's most likelihood that someone who paid $50 actually paid more than $50 for that particular product or service that you're offering for $50. Because by the time you convert to Naira, I think Yoruba used to say, Okpo, yeah, the money must have grown. You get me? So this is a way of, let's say, Emeka is accepting crypto payments, and Emeka is doing well with regards to accepting crypto payments. In other words, he's actually trading crypto without knowing, because you don't really need to trade crypto through putting it or following the price movements and all of that, monitoring all of that. By the fact that you sent Emeka crypto, you already traded crypto. So in other words, Emeka is actually making more gain. If Chukwudi notices that, Chukwudi is actually inspired to start taking crypto payments. That way, mass adoption of blockchain activities or blockchain transactions is, achieved more.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, over to Mr. Ebu. Considering your expertise in global business, what key strategies do you believe are essential for aligning tech education initiatives with the demand of the international job market and fostering global competitiveness among the next generation in Nigeria?
Okay. So first off, I don't know how many people know GitHub website. You know it, right? That Octoverse Atlas, have you ever considered it? You see nodes that spike from one point and land on another point. So the Octoverse is a system that shows the world. The Octoverse Atlas is a system that shows the world the measure of contributions and collaborations that go on in a particular place, a particular region. So in Asia, if you look at that atlas in Asia, you have a lot of nodes spiking. In Southern America, Northern America, you see nodes spiking. Then in Africa, you see one fainting beep. It's more like in the night when a plane is, going by and you look up, you see that small, that's what you see. And it's not even Nigeria. It's somewhere in Kenya. So what does that mean? It means that we don't actually contribute to open source learning, which is the one way that we can get ourselves prepared for the next generation of digital transformation. Now, you can evaluate most software developers. Very few, I thank God that Revelation said he had created an open source document and he shared it on GitHub through a repository. That's amazing. Now, the reason why India is doing as great as they are doing is because they contribute to a lot of open source learning. I know how many people studied engineering or mathematics-related courses in the university. 90% of tutorial videos you watch, they are actually Indians that create those tutorial videos, whether online or you get even textbooks that you use, VK Meta. These guys are Indians. Why do they do this? They do it because they know that empowering information, empowering people with knowledge goes a long way to creating a more robust ecosystem for growth and development. We are not contributing to open source resources. Everybody shouting Nigeria is a consuming economy, Nigeria is a consuming, but you've been a software developer for 12 years. There's no, if you go to all open source repositories, you will not see any work by you. You always go there to go and, if you want to, you go and get what another person has done. And even when you face a problem with what that person has done and you rectify the problem, you even go back to at least upvote that comment or write something about it. If you are not completely in tech, maybe you are in tech business, you don't necessarily have to be creating repositories and all of that on GitHub and the rest of it. You can write blogs. You can write, there's Medium there for you. There are other technical platforms that you can write. That is the first thing I will encourage, because I've had this conversation a lot of times, and the primary thing is the fact that we learn. Trust me, Nigerians are smart, even in tech. Like, I have a friend who studied Vue to the point that he understood how Vue was written, and he's writing his own. Like, can you imagine? They are really crazy people in the country. But the problem is that most of us, our attention is not directed towards creating value or replicating value or leaving something for the next generation to pick up and do. We just want to hit it, make the money, move on. Do you understand? And it's very terrible. It does not make sense. That's one. Secondly, I know a lot of people have blamed government when it comes to adoption of Web3, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, and several forms of technological advancement. But the default human nature is to fight whatever you don't understand. As a father who existed in the 90s, and your son comes today and tells you that he wants to become a disc jockey, and you've not been on the internet, you don't even understand how the frame of operations of disc jockeys work, you will, in fact, your first reaction is to tell that your child, no, it's impossible, right? But you've not come to understand that there's an upgraded form of doing this DJ thingy, and you don't have to be, you know, wayward and all of that, right? But instead of young people to write blogs, write to governments, write to educate the systems on what exactly is happening in these areas, we tend to fight them. We insult them on social media, we do this and we do that. Look at countries like Kenya, look at countries like Rwanda. It all came to their point of leveraging technology because their governments understood the technology. Same thing with Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. They've been able to understand it. So young people should learn to write more, encourage, because you think you need to do one conference and you have minister of this one, president and this one. No, not necessarily. Your dad might be a decision maker. Just explaining it to your dad will make him, when they are speaking about it in the parliament, he will contribute to it. He'll say, yeah, this thing is not really bad. Because when technological advancement, especially Web3 and cryptocurrency came into existence, majority of the activities were pointed towards finance and primarily to move money that will not be monitored. It's not a bad thing, but we capitalized on the negative effects of that too, and we've just been doing it, and it's difficult for you to trace it. You understand? So that's the second thing. The third thing that young people can do when it comes to education is changing their lenses, right? Making a decision to learn for the sake of value, not just for the sake of making money. Because when you begin to behave like that, it will go a long way to direct your actions. Do you understand? So we need to explain more. We need to contribute to open source repositories. We need to explain to those ahead of us what this technology has to offer us, and the advantages, and even the disadvantages, and how it can be mitigated. I believe these areas will help.
Yeah, thank you very much. Then lastly to Mr. Nosa, given your experience in VR game development, what innovative approach or tools do you believe can effectively empower young learners in Nigeria to acquire tech skills through the experience in VR?
Okay, so I will try to either understand the question or you'd permit me to change it, right? So you said what tools in VR would help young Nigerians learn? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay, so if
acquire tech skills.
Tech skills.
Yes.
Okay, so it's the same question, but now we are focusing on tech, right? Yeah. Because that's exactly what I just answered. Okay, sorry to have dragged you, and sorry for but I'm just trying to make sure I don't say the wrong thing. Okay, so how do we use VR to learn tech skills? I would say learn the VR itself, because it's a really young industry, and trying to, not young in the sense that it was early, right? It's early in the scale of things, because I think it's like maybe 20 years or less, maybe 15 years old, in that range. So in the scale of things, it's young. So what I would say is, instead of using VR to learn a tech skill, because right now you already have a lot of mediums open to you that are way more accessible, because VR, to be honest, is not really accessible as of the moment. Not that it's expensive to get into. An average VR headset would cost you around 600K, maybe 500, right? So if you are asking somebody to shell out 500 first before they start learning, when they can just take their phone and go on YouTube, it's like adding extra steps. I don't want to answer that question. It would be just, I would be, what was it called now? What's the word? I would just, I don't know. I know the word in pidgin. I don't know the word in English. So I'm just going to leave it alone. But what we are going to do instead is, I would say, learn the tools for VR. Because since it's a young industry, because this is the thing, there's a thing I have come to understand. There's this book I read about founders. See, if all businesses work, it depends on money and novelty. So, if you don't have money, the other thing you should have is novelty. You should come early and come quick. Imagine in this time and age, I want to rival Sheraton. No, Sheraton's still here. I don't know. A very big hotel. It's a Transcorp, exactly. I tell you that I have this idea, I have this passion, I want to build the next Transcorp. It's not wrong. It's not like it's not an idea that is not feasible. It's just that the competition I'm going to face is very stiff. There are industry giants that are established in that market, and it's going to take a while and a lot of money to even get a market share that is tangible, right? So what I would say, and this is what I usually say for people that are just coming into, maybe you're just getting out of university, you're trying to look for something to do. Yes, I don't think you should just chase money and forget your passions and whatnot, but I think you should strike a balance. Find a place where you can thrive, in the sense that what you have, not many persons have it, because this is the advantage for persons that don't come from a rich background. If you don't come from money, your biggest advantage is to be very, very unique. You have to be so unique that you cannot be ignored. Right. So this is the opportunity that VR presents right now. It's so unique that if you have a VR solution, you cannot be ignored. They can hate you, they can despise you, they cannot ignore you, because it's like, you know how developers were like 5 years ago, where you would probably not like the developer, but you still have to pay them. There was an incident that happened in, I think, my friend's organization, where the boy was very nonchalant about his job, but he was excellent. He was really good. But you tell him, come, he's like, guy, I can't come today. You are paying him salary. Eventually, he was fired. He applied again for a foreign company, and then he got the job. Then the foreign company asked him for a reference letter. The company in Nigeria wrote a reference that, he's good, but he's very nonchalant. He does not, like, they don't say, but we did not ask you if he's nonchalant. Is he good? Do you understand? So, it's that uniqueness presents you with the opportunity to be whatever you want to be. Like, you can actually do something and then get people to see it if you are very unique. And that is what I'm not asking the audience to chase trends. Don't run after, what's the new thing, let me run after it. Yes, it's in your path. Like, do you have skill sets that can complement that the new skill that you're trying to learn? Because, like now, VR is not even a skill for the weak. There's a lot of things stacked on top of, it's stacked on a lot of things. Okay, so graphics, 3D, writing, and this, you're not going to do them at a starter level. You're expected to be professional already. Because you're not even, those skills are supposed to be the foundation for you to even be able to learn VR. So it's not something I would say, okay, just go and chase trends, because then I'll be asking you to waste your time. So what I'm saying is, you can go and learn these things now, while it's young, if you already have the skills that complement. Like people in blockchain now, I'm not sure you started out directly in blockchain. Maybe you're interested in finance or whatnot, and then you go, okay, this is the next logical step. So if it's the next logical step for you based on the skill set you already have, I would say learn VR and learn it really early. We are even looking for people to employ. And that's the funny thing. I put out an ad that lasted for like 3 months, and I didn't get one person to employ to code blueprints for Unreal Engine. We found 2 persons in Lagos, and they were already engaged with foreign companies. So again, there's an opportunity here. If you feel like you have the skill set to add this one on top, because this is not a base level skill set. It's not something you're not going to drop it on 0. You have to have like 70 to put it on top. So if you have 70 or if you have 50, then yes, you should add it on top. It's going to be very profitable.
All right, thank you very much. I think we've come to the end of our panel section. Please, a round of applause for our panelists as they go back to their seats. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, panelists. What a wonderful discussion. I'm sure we learned so much, so many things. Like today, we're slowly we're slowly approaching the end of the program, and we see that that's been such a wonderful time. We've learned so much, so many fountains of knowledge that have come here to come and speak to us, and we've learned so much. And I just want to thank each and every person seated here for staying with us till this time, from the beginning of the program to the end. Thank you so much. It wouldn't have been possible without you. So finally, I want to just welcome Mr. Justin, our CEO, to come and speak on business offers and also the closing remarks. So let's put our hands together as we welcome him.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you for sticking around. I would also apologize again for starting late. Very sincere apologies. Okay, so now I am supposed to talk about how this makes sense for businesses, but then I realize also that majority of the people have, So what we're going to do here is that I'm going to ask a question. We always had in mind that we are going to continue this event, this conversation, all through the rest of this year. Okay, so we have our online community, which is built as a social media platform. It is in-house developed, and it's basically meant for us to continue this thing we're doing here. Because like I said earlier, this is not an event just to be an event. It's an event that we actually intend to use to take action, okay, for everything that we've talked about. We are bringing digital transformation to Nigerian SMEs, and we are working with the actual federal government agency for, small and medium scale enterprises. So it's actually a major one, and this event is just the, kickstart of the entire process. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to ask, I know Twitter is usually the tech place, but I want us to add a particular social media platform to, work with it with our own community so that we can drive conversations and drag people from there to our community where we can make, this thing happen. So it's an open question. Which platform? Okay, Ma, please.
Thank you so much. I checked out your social media platforms. Actually, I saw your advert on sponsored advert on Facebook. Oh, okay. You're pretty active over there, but since I've been here today, I've been checking. Nobody has made any post there, but you're active on Facebook. Then on Twitter, nothing on Twitter. You have a Twitter handle, which I think this particular thing you're talking about right now, that's where you should focus on. Your Facebook is okay. The person handling it is doing fantastic by posting announcing this event, which was where I saw it. But since we've been here for almost how many hours, no updates. Then Twitter should be it. Okay. You should go over Twitter as well. 0 followers. Seriously?
Okay, please a round of applause for Momi. I really she's the one person that I really want to have a very special appreciation for. She has been around from the very beginning and she has stayed up till now. Thank you so much, Ma. Something that we can assure you is that whatever we are bringing to businesses, Ma, do you have a business? Is that why you're here? Oh, okay. No wonder you're... I can understand. Okay, thank you so much, ma. I believe we would definitely, see after now so we can work together, see how we can do this further. Okay, so now from her suggestion, Twitter. So we have to take this Twitter. I know we just received the lash. So now I say yes, what's the word now? English language. Why are you doing this to me? But having heard that, are we in agreement? Let's use Twitter. Right? Okay. LinkedIn. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. So what that means is that we would be driving people from this social media platform with constant updates about everything that is here. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why I didn't get too bothered about a lot of things that I feel like we should have done better was that we have a plan about the aftermath. So perhaps we were so focused on the aftermath, we had, failed to pay some attention to the actual stuff. But you can be rest assured for the rest of this year, you are hearing Myficon. For the rest of 2023, Myficon 2023 will be on your screens, even on your TV and on your radio. That's what I'm telling you. That's how serious, that this is. So thank you guys so much for being here. We have a light refreshment. But before I get there, for businesses, and like I said earlier during the conference, I said many of our registered businesses had to stay back and do business because today is Saturday. So what we are doing is that we are bringing the digital transformation to them. And the idea is very simple. Like I said already, we have Nigerian talents that have learned tech skills. And I mean, you can remember all of our panel sessions and our speakers and what they talked about, their, learning, their experiences and all that. And it's really beautiful, yeah? And a lot of them are actually working remote. I remember Blessing saying she didn't like to work with Nigerian brands because they don't pay well. And I can understand that. But I feel like part of the reasons why we are a foundation and a non-profit, even though we have a for-profit organization, but this is largely spearheaded by our non-profit, we have to commit ourselves to developing Nigeria. As a matter of fact, if Africa will develop, it will be developed by Africans. We can sit and fold our hands and say the government is not doing well, the government should do this, the government should do that. But there's a lot more that we can do as individuals and we can do as an organization. I can remember 2020, Microsoft started a program to empower 24 million people around the world with digital skills. And at that time, we didn't have a foundation, we had a company. So we went to Microsoft and said we want to partner because they were calling for partners around the world. And so we went there and they told us, this thing is actually for non-profits because if we give you the money and you are a for-profit, you calculate a large chunk of the money and it will be in your account as profit and use a little bit of it to actually do the empowerment. But what the money is meant for is to rent training facilities, to buy computers and all that, and we can only trust non-profits to do this. And I'm like, okay. So that was actually what made us to set out to do non-profit. And last year we had our first event, our first conference, and that was focused more on tech talents. And between that time and now, we have been able to empower a lot of young people with skills and stuff. But we also realized that the businesses are not doing very well. So as a matter of fact, now the talents are either taking the remote jobs or they are going the jackpot way. I just gave a statistics, earlier today about 141,000 Nigerians relocating to the UK, and it's true. So if we don't do anything about this, we might just end up having, our young people, taken away, and we don't do anything. So the idea is very simple. What we are bringing to SMEs for the most part of next year is that we are bringing talents to help them digitalize. And in this regard, these talents will not even need to go to their office to work because that's usually a challenge. If you're trying to get an SME here, let's use Uncle Ebuka. When we're doing our marketing and all that, we had to create an audience persona, and then we profiled people that the conference should be about. And then we profiled Uncle Ebuka, that sells in Wuse market. Sorry, I'm talking fast. And he sells textile. Probably has been selling for over 10 years, and he has millions in transactions. He has taken bank loans. He has repaid. He has good standing. And these are the guys that are usually registered with small and medium scale enterprise development agency of Nigeria is long. So this is a very good audience for what we are talking about because Uncle Ebuka now can have an IT team that is working from a MiFi campus that is delivering digital services to him, and the process is backed by a Nigerian bank. So at the end of the day, you have solutions for these people, and it's going to work. So yes, for the rest of this year, we keep making noise about these things what we have talked about today and what we intend to bring. And for the most of next year, we get to start, implementing. So thank you guys so much for sticking around with us. I think it's probably 2 or after 3 right now. Quite an experience. And like I said, we have a light refreshment for us. I really wish we could have done that a bit earlier because of the, people that have gone now. Thank you guys so much. I think this is it. As many people that would like to take pictures here, as many people that would like to take pictures outside, please go ahead. Of course, there are cards where you're supposed to scan. Don't worry. We will, as long as you are registered, that's where there might be an issue. If you're not registered, please go to mylash.foundation and register, please, so that we can have your details and you can be a part of this. We don't want you to be physically present and not, be able to continue the experience. So please visit and register. If you scan that barcode, it takes you to the live portal, but we shifted the live portal. Still, like I said, don't worry, everything will be taken care of. Just make sure you're registered and you have follow-up. When the resource persons materials will be sent, the videos, that are being recorded, you can see 2 cameras. We are streaming live, of course, on the event portal as well. All these materials will be available to everybody, and that's the remaining work we have, apart from handling client projects for the remaining part of the year. I mean, today is 9th, so we have like 21 or 22 more days for the year. This is basically what we are, committed to as an organization for the rest of the year. Thank you guys so much. I expect people now to start coming up and start taking pictures. Please come and take pictures with me. Come and take pictures with me. Okay.